with the rap.
Alright. So, welcome to the situation. Hopefully you guys are doing well. It's been a while. A lot to talk about. As it pertains to a lot of things. Boxing, like real boxing, not that bullshit that has been going on recently. Street Fighter 6. I actually have some things to say about Wings and his recent bullshit. After the fight, I should say, or post-fight. A lot of stuff. So, we're going to skip, actually, the boxing part for right now. The only thing that I'd really like to point out is the Lomachenko-Haney's fight was super close. And, excuse me. And, if I'm Haney, I'm not trying to get a rematch. I'm not trying to do that. But I'm not trying to get the rematch, but at the same time, I don't think I should try to fight Gervonta Davis either. I don't even know if that's a good idea, to be honest. But we'll see. But we can talk about that further in another stream / podcast. So there's that. Okay, the Boogie Wings fight. I don't really have too much to say about that. That kind of went down the way I thought it was. It didn't help neither one of them, to be honest. It was just like what I told you it was. It was going to be a spectacle, right? It wasn't a boxing match. It wasn't a fight. It was a spectacle. And because there was no story, because neither one of these guys had anything to work towards, and more as history has proven me right, they ended up going back to their same bullshit routines after the fact, or post-fight. It is what it was. That fight right there, or that spectacle, was used to promote the podcast, and they couldn't get DSP to sign on, and Keem couldn't give up on the actual fight itself. End of story. So that's what that was. So not to say that DSP has been handed a W, because that's not the case. But what it does prove is that a LOLCOW at the end of the day will always be a LOLCOW. And because a LOLCOW can never truly capitalize off of their own infamy or stupidity, or whatever you want to call it, someone else will always be there to take advantage of it, and they're just going to have to deal. And that's kind of crazy when you think about it in the broad strokes of it. But that is what that is, to be honest. Anywho, as it pertains to that, Boogie's back to... Wings is out here basically saying that Boogie pays for girls. Not that anybody didn't already know that. And then Wings himself is, at least from what I saw, post-fight, and I'm talking about within the days afterwards, when he started doing content, I should say, all he did was essentially try to ride off of Boogie's back, or his win over him, which didn't mean anything, because what was the point, or who takes pride in beating up a walking punching bag who barely fought back himself? I don't understand. Well, I do understand why Wings did it, but I'll get to that. It was pathetic that Wings did that. Essentially, they both got ass pats because they showed up. That was it. That's essentially the crutch of it. No one was looking at a larger redemption story for either one of them unless they were going to do something positive for themselves in the post-fight. And they didn't. Wings is running around here talking about, oh, I got hands, or people know I have hands now, so now I don't really want to fight anybody because now they're going to be well prepared. Okay, so you're a bully. There is bitch in your blood. And, excuse me, you'll always be looked at as a LOLCOW and as a spectacle because now, quote unquote, you supposedly got hands. You don't have hands at all, but whatever. Supposedly you have hands, and now there's people out here that might actually be able to challenge you, and this might be something to help build your character, whether you win or lose, and you won't do it because you're scared of losing. Now we're starting to get on like Wings is literally on DSP levels of shit. And then he comes back and he's bitching about how his Dark Soul streams aren't doing shit, and he don't really have anything. He doesn't know what to do. He expected the fight to carry the day without anything else, like, to be applied to it. Like, the man had no plan. It's bad enough that they walked into a fight with a bunch of fake bravado, and that neither one of them could sell it. That's the crazy part. Neither one of these guys could sell that shit on stage, and they damn sure couldn't sell it in the ring. And then just after the fight is kind of pathetic. And we're going to actually go over a little bit of that. We're going to jump over to the homie Lummox, and I'll show you guys a little bit of what I'm talking about. And actually, we're going to also take a look at MorninAfterKill. I'm not sure if you guys remember who that is, but if you don't, he was the shoe baron. I'll get into the story behind that in a minute. So that was a farce. It was a complete and total waste. It's very clear that Keem had a lot riding on this fight, promoting the podcast, like I told you. And when he couldn't get DSP onto the podcast, the fight was just, it is what it is. And then the Rich and Quartering fight's supposed to follow that up. I don't care. I would like to see, like, Billy the Fridge fight somebody. Supposedly he might fight Wings next. I'd like to, I don't know. I'd like to see him fight somebody, though. That might be, by the way, Billy the Fridge is from Drunken Peasants, just in case you guys aren't really familiar who he is. So I'm anxious to kind of see what that is. I want to see who Low Tier God fights, if he's going to fight anybody. And speaking of which, as it pertains to Low Tier God, fuck him and everything else that has to deal with. He's out here at least making moves. He's out here at least trying to do something, and there are people willing to promote him or at least do business with him in some way, shape, or form to make that happen. I think he was on a Ms. Kiff stream recently. I sent a link to Proper about that like a week or two ago. There are people in the FGC waiting to see what his next moves are, and people are headhunting him just like they're headhunting DSP. So at least Low Tier God's trying to do something. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and jump into Street Fighter 6. So as you guys know, Street Fighter 6 officially is available on Friday. But for those of you who are really in the know, Street Fighter 6 was actually released last Thursday. There's a bunch of different outlets out there that you can probably still get copies even to this current day. To be honest with you, your Walmart, your Target, your mom and pop shops, eBay, like the eBay store had it. There's a couple different places online you can get it. So because of that, people are going to are obviously already playing it, this, that, and the third. That doesn't mean that you're at a major disadvantage. It is what it is. Everybody processes information differently, and how it's implemented will be the telltale sign of what's going on. The reason why I'm bringing this up to you, though, let's call it a preloading, if you will, is that DSP is going to use that as a pretense on why he's going to have a disadvantage, or as well as everybody else, is going to have a disadvantage going into Friday. On top of that, just in case you guys don't know, the There's a Wi-Fi indicator up there as well, so if you got people playing on Wi-Fi, you'll be able to identify them. Funny stuff. It doesn't really mean much unless you're from another country, but you know, it's all in the small details. On top of that, at least from my experiences with the beta, modern controls is fun. I gotta admit, it's a fun feature. I haven't tried dynamic, but the modern controls are kind of funny. I prefer classic, but the modern shit is kind of fun. And there is a lot of crafty shit if you're cunning and you have some imagination that you can make happen with this. This is what's going to lead to a problem for DSP. He's going to get rolled hard as fuck. I initially thought that he may play the year out. He may still do it. It's going to be a rough road for him, I think. Don't be wrong, he's going to scrape his wins here or there, but the progression, I think, the progression of the players that are currently playing and those who are going to come in are going to make it extremely difficult for DSP. As you guys know, DSP doesn't have any imagination. He has very weak reflexes. So all he has is kind of pattern play, if you will, or flowchart play. And that's only going to carry him so far for so long. Time will tell, of course. But it's going to be rough for him. That's just not going to be pretty. It's really not. Because he's going to have to, essentially, he has to bring everything that, all of his experiences from Third Strike, the Street Fighter 4 series, and Street Fighter 5, he has to bring together on top of learning a whole new system. And he's not willing to, and I argue that he's not able to do that. He's really not. And then because he doesn't have a solid, and remember this when I say this, he doesn't have a solid foundation as it pertains to Street Fighter, he's kind of fucked. He doesn't understand what meaties are, really. He doesn't understand links. He doesn't, his footsie, he never really had a footsie game. He's just going for the big hit into a super, and he calls that a combo. And that's it. And it's a little bit more than that. And because he has all these preloaded excuses, he has already kneecapped himself. So essentially, he's dead in the water. Now, I understand that he's planning on essentially burying himself in World Tour mode, which, to be honest, isn't a bad idea because World Tour mode is going to teach him how to play. The problem is DSP is just treating this shit like a job, so he's not going to really learn anything, and anything that he does end up able to absorb, he'll forget it once he actually gets into a real match, so nothing's going to come out of that. And then he still has to get online and deal with all the bullshit that comes along with that. He's gonna have fucking problems. Okay, like, I'm definitely gonna be headhunting him. Whether I get to him or not is gonna be a whole nother question in itself. But I'm definitely gonna headhunt him, and there's definitely gonna be other people that are gonna headhunt him. Just like with LTG, just like with a lot of people and whatnot. What's up, Goji? What's up with what's up to everybody in the chat, or big ups? He's gonna have a lot of problems with this. He's not gonna be able to learn and absorb it and then be able to apply it in an efficient manner. I initially had my doubts just coming off of the closed beta, but because he didn't jump into the open beta at all, which was probably smart on his part, I'm further convinced that he's gonna get scraped hard. It's gonna be entertaining and whatnot, but he's gonna get scraped hard as fuck. He's gonna get scraped hard as fuck. So that's my thoughts on Street Fighter 6. That's my early predictions. We'll see how we do and whatnot, because to be honest with you, I prefer for him to struggle because that's what makes it entertaining. But it don't look good. It really don't, especially if as it pertains to, like I told you, the game's been out for some people since like last Thursday. The longer he tries to bury himself in single player mode and not actually absorb any of the functionality that entails, the more beat up he's gonna get when he gets online. It's gonna be really interesting to watch. And in certain discords, the Chris G video is still circulating. The one by Piece of Peace, as well as the original one, is still circulating, and there's a lot of people laughing. So I'm anxious to see how he deals with that. Anywho, let's see. Let me pass out some snort bucks to you guys real fast, and let's go ahead and switch over and get into the video aspect of it. I don't know how long this is going to be, to be honest with you, but Wings said some shit that had me wanting to say something. So we'll jump into that, and then maybe I'll get another one of these in sometime over the weekend. Maybe. We'll see, because obviously I'm going to be playing a lot this weekend. Sorry about that. Allergies are killing me. And maybe I'll get some footage. Maybe I won't. We'll see. We'll see and whatnot. But it should be fun either which way. Also, a couple things actually, because I've been off the grid for a minute, so I'm missing some stuff. Big ups to Sunspot Gallery as usual. The link to his podcast series, or his interview series really is what it is down in the description. Big ups to Dark Dave Mears, who popped back up like, I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago. It might have been 3 at this point, but big ups to them for being back in the mix. That gives me a lot of hope that Raw DSP will end up showing back up eventually. But until that happens, there is a channel out there called Raw Phil. I actually just subscribed to it, so I have the link to both of those channels down in the description as well. Big ups to them. I hear Cat Roller's back into the mix, so big ups to Cat Roller. Big ups to everybody who was down for a minute and are making their rounds, and big up to, you know, all detractors in general. All right. With that being said, I mean, let's not hold you guys up. Let's get you guys into this. So we're gonna have 3 videos, possibly 4, but at least 3. Wings related, but the last one will talk about the DSP and this whole fucking tire bullshit. I'll expand upon that in another stream, but I can give you guys at least some of my initial thoughts through this shit. Because, well, fuck it. Let me just go ahead and do it now. As it pertains to that tire situation, it was a farce, as you guys all know. It was clearly... let's look at the situation. Let's expand upon the situation that led up to that circumstance. So, DSP has that Street Fighter, or that Fight and Feast marathon, or whatever the fuck you call it, gets stupid drunk, ends up exposing, what's that guy's name? Jinx / supposedly Only Iced Coffee / Ryan. He ends up exposing him there that night after making $1,300, which, to be honest with you, was one of the major reasons why DSP never really wanted to drink on stream, especially when he was on Twitch, because he knew he was going to say or do something stupid if given an opportunity. So DSP doxes that dude, or whoever that was, on that stream. Then the next day, he comes off with this lame-ass excuse on how he didn't dox him, and that he was concerned with emails and whatever, and that's what the real situation is, and everybody's blowing everything out of proportion. Then later on that day, the support streak, or whatever you want to call it, ends up dying out. So all of a sudden it ends up stopping right after he ends up doxing the person who essentially was one of the main contributors to it. And then the day after that, you guys end up having this whole tire situation? Fuck you. Literally, fuck you. The fact that he thought that would even work makes no goddamn sense to me. When it's very clear that she was at work, she was probably on her way home, she got a flat tire, she probably was able to pull out of the parking space, went a few feet, realized she had a flat tire, or got a flat tire then. Somebody at her job, as well as supposedly mall security, probably helped her change the tire, and she took a picture of it so Phil would see what's going on. But then I have my doubts, because if DSP has had that spare tire and has never used it, it means he's probably never checked the air pressure on it either. So I'm assuming whoever it was that had to give her a lift, if someone had to drive her anywhere, was to go ahead and refill that spare. And so when DSP said, oh, I have to leave the stream, this, that, and the third, that was probably her coming home on the spare tire and then driving off to wherever they went to get a new one. End of story. And then he sat there and turned it into this whole ridiculous bullshit about someone steals a fucking tire. Who the fuck steals one tire? And who the fuck steals one tire with your fucking car jack? Who does that? Like, honestly, how does that make fucking sense? And then they stole the... Fuck that. I'll tell you this right now. If I'm on my bullshit like that, if I don't need to do that, but if I'm on my bullshit like that, I'm going for all 4 tires. Period. And if I don't have center blocks, like any thief who's worth their fucking salt, then guess what? That fucking car is gonna just hit the fucking concrete, and I don't give a fuck. Pure and simple. I'm sorry, but like no one's... I mean, not to say that someone couldn't steal a tire in broad daylight, because trust me, cars get lifted all the fucking time. But you're gonna steal one fucking tire. One fucking tire. You could at least take 2. You're gonna steal one fucking tire, rims and all. Fuck that. That sounds dumb. That legitimately sounds dumb. And the whole concept of, oh well, maybe a troll did it. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I don't see that. A troll, a real troll who's worth their salt, they're going for it. They're going for all tires. And if you're gonna go through the trouble as a troll to plan on stealing DSP's tires, why wouldn't you steal all 4 of them? That shit is so much more funny, or so much funnier, I should say, than just stealing one fucking tire. Just steal all 4 of them. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I don't really think a troll did it. I think DSP lied. I think she just had a flat tire. That's all it was. And he made something bigger out of it than what it was. And then his story, as it pertains to fixing said flat tire, don't even sound right. So it's like, you've been driving for as long as you have and you've never dealt with a flat tire? And then you're calling your father about what? Like, about what? And then he says that he ends up, when he finally does get there, let's go by the actual snort narrative. He says he actually gets there. He walks to an auto store, finds the actual bolts that he needs, comes back and realizes that 4 out of the 5 don't fit. So you're not gonna walk back and get that fifth bolt, or you're not gonna send Kat to do it? I don't know. Like, the whole narrative doesn't sound right. There was no theft. It's just a flat tire and that's it. And it was DSP trying to drum up some type of sympathy or try to get pity bucks, and it didn't work. And as far as I know, Jinx hasn't really been on his contribution shit. So clearly that right there only reinforces DSP may have accidentally doxed the guy. So it's all pathetic and lame and sad all around. End of story. To be honest. There's no real value to it outside of that. It's hilarious, but it is what it is. Why not just slash the tires? Because stealing the tires are funnier. It's funnier to steal the tires. It'll cost him so much more in the long run. Excuse me. Did DSP even file a police report? And then why would you leave your own jack there? If they let's go with the narrative that that someone stole the tire. Who leaves their own car jack there? Like, why would you do that? And then you just happen to have the same car jack that can be used for the same make and model car? I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of silly. Oh shit! Oh wow, he actually has a police report. If DSP doesn't have a problem with lying to people on a daily basis, why would a police report? Honestly, to be truthful, at least this is my thoughts. If the dude has no problem with lying on the internet day in, day out, knowing damn well that he has a legion, a literal legion of people who are looking to call him out on it at a moment's notice, why wouldn't he lie to the police? I mean, keep in mind, this was the same ass clown who got, he ran around and kept saying he got swatted, and he didn't. He had a wellness check. But he ran, but here's the main point of that. The night that it happened, he went ahead and laughed it off like it was no big deal. The next day was when he was running around saying, oh, I have a right to live. You know what I'm saying? It's your fault. It's people like you who make other people want to fucking hate me, and turned it into this whole drama situation where him and Panda could have died and all that nonsense. So yeah, a false fucking police report doesn't surprise me in the fucking slightest. Not at all. If that was the case. But I'd want to read the police report first though. But big ups on let me know about that though. So and then he said something about the car alignment. And I'm thinking, why not just get all new tires in at that point? Excuse me. Let's see. According to That Being Said, the That Being Said podcast, I'm sorry, that there was a car thief. There was a car theft on that day, or a tire theft. I'm assuming is what that was. Yeah, a security report kind of makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, I'd like to see the report though. To be honest. Oh yeah, and then didn't the trolls trolls stole all his shit, and where was the police report on that? But I mean, like I said, it's DSP. You can't really take anything that he says to heart, to be honest with you. Until, I mean, we live in a day and age as it pertains to detractordom, if you will, that everybody wants evidence for everything. So it is what it is. But yeah, once I get a chance to check out the police report, then we'll go from there. But it sounds like bullshit to me, though, to be honest with you. It sounds like it's just a flat tire. It's not that serious. It's serious to him, but it's not really that serious. It's not really that serious. That's a good question. Who knows why he would do anything right now? And that's a fair point. Like I said, who knows? My thing is, and this is another, I've talked to Proper and some other people about this. It's wild how this crazy nonsense always happens literally before his day off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he does it to keep the drama alive until he comes back. It's I'm not saying it's always like that, but I would say easily 4 out of 5 snorts, there's some type of drama that's going to happen leading to his day off. It almost never fails. But like I said, if there's an actual police report, I'll read it. I definitely want to see it and see what it entails. Yeah, there's a definite fucking pattern. Like, I'm telling you, like, go back to most of the major, not even major, just to most of the drama that happens to him. It's usually something that his dumbass does on the day before his day off that prompts it. It's almost always like that. And he's been doing, and it's been more consistent, I think, over the last few years. And then I've seen some tweets, where DSP was talking shit about Zelda, and people are picking that shit up and spreading that shit all around, where that shit's getting traction on like TikTok and other places. If that man wants to go viral, trust me, there are people who are going out their way to help his ass with it in the worst possible way. In the worst possible way. But there's always some type of shit going on, and like I said, it always leads to his day off. So it harkens back to I don't know, there's a couple different situations, but the major one I can point out to was the State of Decay 2 bullshit debacle that he had, where people are shills, people are sellouts and all that nonsense, and that actually came from his depression because he was mad that him and Catherine couldn't go to the zoo or the Space Needle or wherever the fuck because she got sick. So he decided to vent online. It's always on some bullshit like that. And the real reason why I think he does that is because it gives him a day to see what goes on and who picks it up, and then he can craft his narrative, to be honest with you. So, But like I said, big ups to the person in chat who says there's a report. If there is, I'll definitely check it out. Like, I'll speak to a few people, I'll see who can get their hands on it for me, and I'll definitely take a look at it. Alright, so here, let's get into this video situation. Let me change up real fast. Actually, I can do that while this is still going on. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so, but yeah, like I said, if there's a report, I'll take a look. But I know Zelda's been kicking his ass. I know that Dark Souls, Dark Souls or whatever he's playing, or Oblivion is kicking his ass. Whatever. He's bad at games. He's clearly becoming more and more frustrated, and he wants to quit everything if it's not like dead on. I can't remember what video I was watching. It might have been a memology video where he had to construct a platform to put on these rails so he could move along it, and it was kind of embarrassing to watch a grown-ass man not be able to figure out like basic shit, like his de-evolution, if you will, or how he's devolved mentally, has been trying to be serious about this here actually for a minute, was actually kind of sad to watch. I thought it was going to be funny. I thought it'd be amusing, and it was anything but. It was just really pathetic. To be honest, it was really pathetic. Like, to watch, especially this year, I should say, and we're not even 6 months into it yet per se, but to watch him mentally hit a wall the way he has, and obviously the interview with Side Scrollers is part of that, but to see him mentally hit this wall, and he can't even really use his hooves to scoop his brain matter back into his skull, is just kind of sad to watch. Oh, I saw the Darth Vader fight too. That was a really dumb... That really shows you exactly how... It shows you how his thinking works as it pertains to a problem. Like, he has options to attack from flanks or work angles, and he couldn't do it. Or he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it until he was so frustrated that he was forced to do it. And that's what you're going to see in Street Fighter 6. You're going to see him get pounded, no pun intended, in such a way to where he's only going to change or evolve as a player when he's forced to. He won't do it off of the third or fourth try. It's going to be off like the 30th or fourth round when he gets beat up. It's really sad. Like, for example, in the Lomachenko Haney's fight, it was like round 9, I think. You can hear in Haney's corner him saying, yo, dude's got me figured out. Like, dude's got me completely and utterly figured out. And he's trying to kind of like come to terms that he needs to do something or he's going to lose his fight. That's DSP all the time. That's literally dark side Phil mode. It doesn't take long for people to figure him out, and he doesn't really have an option to fix it. He never seems to be able to actually identify his own problems or shortcomings or issues and then try to rectify them. He just doesn't, it doesn't compute. The world needs to change, or my opponent needs to change, not me. And it's because of that is the reason why he never grew as a player. It's also one of the reasons why he's never grown as a content creator. He's never grown as a person. So when people have you figured out, they know how to play you. Like the fact that he sat there and exposed himself for taking down Dark Dave Mirrors doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all, because DSP has a lot, or he did have a lot riding on that whole DSP reacts bullshit, and he really thought it was going to blow up. But now he's sitting here getting pushback from these idiots, and they're idiots because why would you pay someone to react to content that he's purposely going to drop? And he's basically telling you that. Like, he's not going to be a decent person and be like, okay, you're giving me a 3-minute video to react to. I'm going to go ahead and do this 3 minutes. DSP is going to give you 30 seconds. Oh, I don't understand this. This doesn't mean anything. Where's the cultural relevancy? I don't care. And then boom. And then your money got wasted. And then to guarantee to have your video to be reacted to, right? Or your, to have your entry be reacted to, you have to be at the $20 mark or whatever the case may be. So that's essentially $5 a week for a month. And he's still going to piss that shit away. So what's the point? Yeah, I did see that, actually. That's actually really, really funny that he took down Dark Dave Mirrors, and I was like 4 or 5 other channels out there dedicated to restreaming him on the daily. It's ironic how that worked out for him. But see, that's because DSP can't foresee his actions, right? Like, look at let me give you guys an example. Look at that Illuminati situation, right? Like, clearly she fucked up bad. And she could have easily have just apologized to Legal Eagle and to the editor and dead all that shit. Essentially. Like, dead it all out in public. Not this whole behind the scenes we talk bullshit. She should have dead that shit in public and that was it. Instead, you got all this other nonsense that she's been doing behind the scenes. And she's paying people to gather information and all this other bullshit. And she's going to lose far more than what she was ever going to gain in clout from doing what she was doing. And the thing is Blair is not stupid. She knew that. She knew what she was doing was a bad idea. She should have just approached Legal Eagle with that in private if she really thought that was a situation. But she got him in public because she was hoping to get something off of him. And it backfired. And now she's talking about defamation and she's talking about suing people and this, that, and the third. You know how many people who have made videos on her? A bunch. Not even a bunch. Like, easily 50 people, probably, if not more. Like, you can't make something like that go away. Especially with all the evidence that's out on her. So, it's just a mess. But, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, it's kind of like female DSP type shit. That was a really, really sad move for clout. And it's going to end up biting her in the ass for no goddamn reason. So, it is what it is. You know, maybe she got off the stripper pole just a little too soon. I don't know. But either way, womp womp to that. Womp womp to that. Okay, let me pull this up real fast and let's see here. What videos are we going over? Okay, this first video is by MorninAfterKill. Just in case you guys do not know, quick TLDR on that. MorninAfterKill was the dude who was essentially in DMs talking to Jordy's wife, Kelly. This is when she was really being serious about her weight loss and Wings wasn't being supportive, and she was saying that she really needed new walking shoes because hers was all beat up, and dude was willing to go ahead and give her that. Essentially, it was a troll type thing, but it almost sounded like he could get her, if he wanted to, if he pushed for it, he may have been able to get her in a position where he could have hit that. And it completely embarrassed Jordy, not because there's another man speaking to his wife, because plenty of trolls have spoken to his wife anyway. But really what it did is it showed exactly what kind of irredeemable, unsupportive piece of shit that Wings actually is. That's what he's really mad about. And he should be mad about that. He should be mad that he literally drove his wife into the arms of another dude over something dumb. So, yep, Smelly Kelly, or whatever. And the fact that she married him after that, I never understood. I don't know. It is what it is. But this is MorninAfterKill speaking on the situation with Wings. Oh no, I just thought about that. Ew. Actually, I can still do this. I can still do this. All right, here we go.
I think it's fair to say this, that the boxing did not help my career. So let's stop talking about it, please.
You didn't help your career.
That part of my life's behind me. Wraith, I'm not going to be in a better mood, man. I'm depressed. I'm a manic depressed. It is what I am, dude. It's reason people pick on me. If I come back when I'm in a better mood, I won't stream the rest of the month.
Bro, and
No,
then
no,
hit
it's not
this
a
low.
like. I was on a big high because I felt like I was succeeding. Now I feel like I'm failing. So like, it is what it is.
Because you are failing because you are failing yourself. You came back from London, you took 2 weeks off, you didn't ride any of the fucking momentum that Keemstar fucking gave you, and now you expect people to fucking sit here and watch you play Dark Souls in the fucking dark. Nobody wants to watch you play a 12-year-old game and fucking sit here and feel sorry for yourself. Get the fuck up, get the fuck out of the house, and go fucking do something. You had the perfect golden opportunity. All you had to do was start talking shit about other people, and then Keemstar would have been booking you fights. You could have even fucking, you could have called me out.
Which is what he should have done. So first thing is, Keem is trying to book Wings a couple of fights, but Wings is running around talking about he's having issues with his back and he wants to get that addressed. Literally, it sounds like some DSP shit. On top of that, MorninAfterKill is an actual fair candidate. Not necessarily to fight him, because if they can, I mean, if he can drum up some interest, then they can make that happen. Morning After can, he does have some history with Wings, and so you can build off of that. But even then, you could have Morning After, you could essentially use him as a reverse hype man. So as when Wings' next opponent, he's there to basically get Wings riled up and to keep him motivated to keep training for these fights, which is what Wings should be doing. When the next opponent has been announced, MorninAfterKill jumps over there and is essentially that dude's hype man, as essentially unofficially is his hype man to build up more of the drama, to keep that shit going. Like, dude, there could have been money made on all sides with that. You know what I'm saying? You cut MorninAfterKill in for a couple thousand, and it pays for itself. And then you could eventually build a fight around that if you want to. Because supposedly Wings wants to fight Ethan Ralph, but that's probably not going to happen. Who else did he say he was interested in fighting? I think he said something about DSP, but you know DSP is not going to do that either. The point being is that from a PR standpoint, to have someone who's literally a troll who has touched your life that close to still be there to build up and still, and still drum up drama is a golden opportunity that most people don't get. And yet again, he's completely wasting that shit. What's up, Gray Fox? Big ups to everybody in chat. So anyway, yet again, Jordy just fucking it up for Jordy.
Like, you could have easily beat me up. Call me out. You could have done that. There's history there between us. But you said there's no money in fighting MorninAfterKill. Well, where's there money in this? You're sitting in your fucking room doing nothing. Bro, you could have bigged up that whole shit between me and you after that fucking fight, or you could have gone after like Airsoft Fatty or Badland Chugs or Billy the Fridge or whoever Keemstar wanted you to fucking go after. But no, you fucking sat there and said, I'm never fighting again. I'm taking my 10K. I'm running after beating Boogie. Bro, that's why people don't respect you.
Yeah. You come off of, people caring about you and giving you congratulations to a 150 viewer stream.
Well, here's the thing. No one cared. That's the real situation. Like, no one cared. If Wings had lost that fight, people would have clowned him. If he had won the fight, people would have said, oh, you beat up on a fucking walking punching bag. A living, breathing combo dummy. Congratulations. But this idiot took that shit as like false validation. Like some literal LOLCOW shit. So he overhyped and overvalued himself. And then he's too lazy to actually go out there and keep doing shit. Like, he had a walking stream with Kelly. And Kelly looked like she was having a good time, because it looked like it's what Kelly always wanted. Them to be out there together, not only spending time, but also doing something to prolong their existence, right? To actually try to get themselves in a better spot. Get themselves in a much more healthier place in life. But this fat fuck still don't want to do it. And it's not even that he's a fat fuck. He's just a lazy piece of garbage. He's a lazy piece of shit. And he always has been. Wings of Redemption has always been someone who always needed someone else to push him, right? He always needed someone else to be to motivate him or to propel him forward, right? And then if the rumors are true that Wings was hoping that there would be like a PKA reunion, and that's not going to happen because Kyle don't want no parts of that, then Jesus Christ, Wings, you should be campaigning on that shit. And then you should be like, you know what? After a couple fights, I want fucking Kyle in the ring. He should do that shit. And you know that Wings is all about his low blows, right? So he could easily be like, hey, you know, yeah, I may not have gone on some camping trip with you guys or whatever the case may be, but you didn't see my business partner come up dead. What do you know about that? Oh, you don't see drugs being delivered to my fucking house and getting arrested over it? What do you know about that? Like, I mean, that first one's a really, really, really low fucking blow. And it's still an open case if I remember correctly. But that second one's open game. So it's not like there ain't shit out here. It's not like there isn't opportunities out here. He just doesn't want to do anything. He just doesn't want to do anything. So, and yeah, if he gets in the ring with Kyle, Kyle's gonna beat the brakes off him. Absolutely. He's gonna get paid for it. He's gonna get paid for it. And Jesus Christ, he don't need to go more than a round. He really don't. In a 3-round fight with Kyle, he only needs to go a round and a half, and then that's it. So that's all that's needed. It's not that serious.
I don't know if you noticed, but I've streamed maybe a total of like 6 hours in 2 weeks.
That right there, this right here is the reason.
Okay, real quick. Okay, so this whole LOLCOW podcast thing. Supposedly they're still working to try to like get that shit ironed out or whatever the case may be. Supposedly, instead of there being DSP, Keemstar is going to step in as the third man or whatever. The problem is with that is that's going to get boring fast, to be honest. I don't think that's going to work. It's not really, neither one of them can really play off of Keem, if you think about it. So, like, I mean, it's going to be Keem that's going to have to essentially do all of the heavy lifting, no pun intended, and that's that. The other two kind of just sit there and are basically going to be emotional punching bags, and nothing else is going to come out of it. You can't put Cobra up there. You can't put Cobra up there. Cobra's not going to be able to do it. For one, Cobra is too falsely woke to really go up there and to be able to deal with anything on a critical sort of level, to be honest with you. Not because the dude is disabled, it's the fact that he already has a really warped sense of reality. Two, if you give Cobra the money, he's going to run. He's going to go on a drunken binge or whatever the case may be, and he's just going to get fucked. So you can't even trust giving Cobra money, especially not in advance. And if he doesn't have the money in advance, he's more than likely not going to do the work anyway. Matter of fact, just to put this into perspective, is Lizard Guy or Puffy or whatever, or Puff or whatever his lizard's called or named, is he even alive still, or is he dead yet? And I hate to say it like that, but I'm just saying, like, if Cobra hasn't overfed him or starved him or not cleaned his habitat or whatever the case may be, I wouldn't be surprised if that lizard hasn't made it. And if that's the case, I already told you what I think. He's going to land on a staff or some shit. And that staff's going to go for a lot of money, because there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be willing to buy it. Cyrax is another one. He's not cut out for it either. He's not cut out for it. That dude lives in absolute fucking squalor, and Marty essentially lives rent-free in that dude's head. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. So, I mean, Cyrax is out too. They are funny choices, though. They are pretty entertaining choices. Rich. I'm gonna be blunt with you. Rich is boring. Rich is hella boring. So no, Rich. I don't think Rich would work either. He's silly boring, super silly boring, and he's sensitive. If anybody could, if any of those guys were willing, Wings would probably do it actually. If Wings was really willing to watch some of the old videos that you got to look for him, that actually call Rich out on his bullshit back in the day, and allegedly some of the shit that he still does now, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Rich is not going to be able to handle that. And more importantly, you don't put Rich on the show unless you have Rich fight Wings. Other than that, he can be like a revolving guest or whatever, or even a guest host maybe. But Rich is boring. I don't think that's going to work, to be honest. Rich is just he's not gonna be able to carry the show week to week. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be able to do that. Like, here's the thing. This is my own personal opinion, of course, so take of that what you will. When you look at the three of them, when you look at Wings, when you look at DSP, and you look at Boogie, Boogie's a fence sitter and a degenerate, but he's a fucking fence sitter, right? So he is going to be the one that's going to try to keep the peace, and he's going to side with people when people have too much of an advantage, and that's pretty much his role. He's Mother Goosing in this bitch. Wings is the one that's going to come off with these hot takes that he's not necessarily going to be able to explain, but as long as no one's pushing back on him, he's going to feel like he has high ground and he's going to move with it. DSP is the other numbnut who's going to sit there and also have uninformed takes or shit that he gets off Twitter, and he's just going to go back and forth with Wings. So Wings kind of represents what he's read on Reddit, and DSP is going to take what he interprets that was being said or what's trying to be put across on Twitter. And that's essentially it. But all three of them are idiots. All three of them are emotionally damaged and or stunted. It's funny to see three fucking losers have to scrap it out with each other. That's literally what it comes down to. Rich isn't going to bring nothing to that. Just like how Monday Matt's not going to bring anything to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Low Tier God, I don't even think Low Tier God would work. I think he makes an interesting guest, possibly, but he's not gonna work either. You know, 2 pigs, 1 mic. That's funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, now that I just saw that 2 pigs, 1 mic, truth be told, drop Boogie and make it just a DSP and Wings podcast, and have Keemstar babysit, and that might work. It won't work in the long term, but that might work. But other than that, finding this third revolving guest or whatnot, it's not going to work. Who else are you going to get in there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if this was Ethan Ralph 2017 kill stream, maybe. But other than that, who are you going to do that? Like, who else are you going to get in there? Because now, ladies and gentlemen, we start getting into troll territory. Now you kind of start having to get into detractor, troll, hater, and critic territory now. So, are you gonna pick a DSP detractor to do it? I saw Proper. Are you gonna get Proper to do it? Are you gonna go for another, like, you know what I'm saying? Are you gonna get somebody on that side? Whose name has been thrown around lately? X Bottles. If he's even, I don't think he's even in the mix anymore. But Wings brought him up for some reason recently. Wings 007. Anybody who was on the Real Talk podcast at one time or another, do you get one of them? Like, who do you get? You know what I'm saying? There's a, you know what? James the Lesser would be funny. James the Lesser would actually be a pretty funny choice, to be honest with you. Because James knows enough about both of them that he could rip them pretty hard, to be honest, and still keep it funny. Same thing with Proper. You know what I'm saying? But these are guys who know their history, though. So, I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out, but if it was really a thing, what is Wings all depressed about? You made $10,000, you're going to pay $35,000 to $4,000 in taxes, give or take. So you're still walking away with $6,000, which is the money that he needs for the air conditioning unit, right? Or at least help put towards it. But supposedly he talking about getting himself a new gun. And that's not a good idea, because the moment he gets a new weapon, well, first off, I don't believe that he doesn't have a weapon now. To be honest with you, if Wings doesn't have a pistol or two at the house, he's a fucking idiot. He's a goddamn idiot if he don't have a pistol. But whatever. But he talking about getting himself a new gun, but he says he don't want to get it because, you know, the cops have been out there so many times and he's afraid he's going to get shot. I mean, shit, there's worse things than being shot, to be honest. But anyway, here we go.
You have no momentum.
Trained maybe a total of like 6 hours in 2 weeks.
Actually, Gray Fox, that's a fantastic point. He got $6,000 and he got a trip to the UK out of it. And supposedly, Wings is crying now about how Kelly said that she wished he made more money. And he's like, oh, I don't want to be rich and this, that, and the third or whatever. It's not about being rich. You and Kelly, just like DSP and Kat, you guys apparently are not going to have kids. So, traveling is not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? Going off and actually seeing the world a little bit, or vlogging it, if you will, doesn't sound like a bad idea. But people like Wings and people like DSP are so fucking paranoid, and that's what makes them shut-ins, that they don't want to do anything. They don't want to do anything at all. It's easier to stay at home and get beat up on the fucking internet day in, day out, than go out there and actually see the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? And see what life actually can provide you. But it's even more than that. He doesn't want to work towards that. Kelly wants to go to fucking somewhere in the Caribbean or whatever the case may be. Well, who's going to pay for that? Oh, I need to stream more and actually be entertaining? Oh, I actually have to put something behind all this to make that happen? Yeah, he's not going to do that shit. He's already been contaminated with being complacent. So he's not going to want to make no moves to do anything better for himself or for her. Same thing with DSP. That's the reason why DSP and Kat never had a honeymoon. Because DSP don't want to do it. He don't want to go nowhere. Sorry. He doesn't want to go anywhere with her. As long as he has his drink, as long as he has his WWE champions, he's content. Well, Jory is the same fucking way. As long as he has his Reddit, as long as he has his Rainbow Six, and as long as Kelly's cooking and he has her medical insurance, he don't care either. There is nothing else to work towards. He feels like he has everything he wants. And then he's talking about selling the house, and I don't think he can actually do that because his mother owns the majority of the module mansion, if you will. So he's not even in a position to make that happen. But even more importantly than that, chat, the money that he sunk into the module mansion, he's not even going to get back. So there's no return on investment on any of that. His mother fucked him royally. He paid for that damn thing 3 times over, and he's going to get not even a quarter of it back. That's insane. And then, I don't know, I wonder if his mother owns the land too. So he's really going to be left with damn near nothing. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. So instead of all those years ago when the money was good, and just buy some land somewhere in another county and build your own fucking house, he got complacent. His mom let him sit there and be complacent, and she drained him financially. More than Brandy and Celine ever could. So, there you go.
Taking time away, all it does is hurt me. Because here's the truth. I got to make the same number of donations I made last month with less viewers.
Nobody wants to hear about donations when you just made $10,000 in 30 seconds. The self-awareness or the lack thereof of this self-awareness is just absolutely mind-blowing. This man just made $10,000 this month on top of, what was it, like $2,000 he received in donations when he came back on stream after the Boogie fight? So you're talking about $12,000 plus like the $3,000-$4,000 he usually makes a month on his streams, right? So you're talking about this man made $15,000 and possibly whatever, possibly a percentage of whatever royalties on t-shirt sales and merchandise at the event.
Okay, real quick. What's up, Well? How you doing? Okay, Wings having dreams or aspirations is fair. What good is that, though, if you don't have the motivation to go out and do it? Like, what's the point of having a dream if you don't have the motivation to go out there and pursue said dream? It just falls onto a list of things to do, which more than likely will never happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get it. He has a little more than what DSP has, but he's just not motivated to go out there and get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which is another aspect of a LOLCOW, is they're not motivated to do anything. They've already been beaten down, or they've already failed themselves, or let themselves down, if you will, so much that they're not willing to do anything else now. If it's not handed to them, then fuck it. And this is what I was saying. Me and James and Proper and Declan said this years ago. Don't give, as it pertains to DSP, I wish no one ever got him a console. I wish no one ever got him a television. I wish they never got him an arcade stick. And see what happens and see how DSP deals with that shit. And here's the truth. He's either going to buy it himself or he's going to sink. But see, DSP always puts out the veiled threat that, hey, if you guys don't do this, I can't do this. As if they're not options out here. But he has these people, the dents or whatever you want to call them, he has them so entrenched into his bullshit and the thought of, well, you guys can't abandon me because you guys have been with me so long. If you guys leave, this part of the internet dies with him. The fact that people believe that, or people have believed that, astonishes me to this very fucking day. Ladies and gentlemen, if I get booted off the internet tomorrow, nothing changes. You'll move on to somebody else. Period. Anybody and everybody is fucking replaceable to some extent. Yes, there's people, I'm sure, I know for sure all of my stuff is been backed up locally. But I'm sure someone online has some of that and they'll put it somewhere. But for the most part, it doesn't stop your day. It's probably unfortunate, but it's not going to stop your day. You know what I'm saying? Your day is going to continue to move forward. Right? Your life is going to continue to move forward. DSP actually convinced people that, hey, if something happens to me, or if you guys let the trolls win, or whatever the case may be, you're somehow going to be poorer for it. And people believe them. And that shit just fucks with me to this very day. That shit's crazy. That's crazy how that happened. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why, we all call this shit a cult and all this bullshit. Because that's literally some cult-like behavior. And DSP knows it. He's just mad that he doesn't have the quality of people within his community. Let me reword that. If DSP had the viewer base, the fan base of like someone like an Ann Leet, for example, or an Agent Proper, someone like that, that have some really smart cookies and people with a lot of common sense, people who would be willing to, hey, if you guys feel like a situation's fucked up, you would speak out on it. If DSP had that, he'd be a lot happier. But he don't. He has these people who he has broken down mentally and emotionally in a lot of ways. Excuse me. He's broken them down mentally and emotionally that they don't even have any fight in them. It's all about just drones, thank you, or NPCs or whatever the case may be. They're there just to essentially keep DSP existing, and that's it. They don't provide anything else but that. And that's the reason why they won't go anywhere else. Because, and you kind of saw a little bit of this with the Anonymous situation. A lot of these guys have baggage. You know what I'm saying? They have some real fucking baggage. And outside of the fact that DSP has already broken them down, if they go somewhere else, right, it's possible someone might actually take a closer look at them and some of their behavior. And then you get into all that nonsense. And then if you guys saw that Derek tweet from like last night or the night before, or whatever that shit was, the shit about the breastfeeding through the whatever, that shit is crazy. Excuse me. Was that a tweet or was it just a message he put on DSP stream about the breastfeeding thing? Whichever. That shit was, I've seen Derek say some fucking wild shit. That shit right there was absolutely fucking disgusting. I mean, he said a lot of shit that's disgusting, but that takes the fucking cake. Oh, what's up, Hate Army? Oh, was it fake? Aww. Well, see, I'm glad I didn't go into the details of what that message was. Holy shit. Oh. Oh, Derek, you got lucky, boy. You dodged the bullet. I almost pulled the screenshot up of that shit. You got very lucky I didn't go any further with that. Even still. See, but then again, that gets into the problem, though. Well, no, I can only speak for myself. Even at a quick glance, I was like, oh, yeah, I can see Derek saying that shit. I can, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can only speak for myself on this. But I took a quick glance at that, and I was like, ew, I can see Derek saying that shit. And then I moved on. That's, you know what I'm saying? But Derek is such a fucking degenerate, though, that it makes a lot of what he says seem believable. That's not funny about that Planet Jeff wife situation. That Planet Jeff wife situation, that's not funny. I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. But it's kind of funny. Holy shit. That's not funny. But the thing is, though, is my main point, is that Derek has such a history of doing shit that it was believable, at least to me, for whatever 5 seconds that I gave to read the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So imagine someone with Derek's track record trying to go to another community and starting fresh. His transition's not going to work because people are going to find out the nonsense he's done on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the DSP ass kissing and dick sucking. I'm talking about the shit with chasing down these porn stars, being blocked by porn stars. I'm saying stuff that definitely isn't fake. Like, people can go back and verify. Him being blocked by porn stars for harassment and all the other nonsense that, you know, he's known for. I mean, fucking A, bruh. Fucking A. And that's what DSP fosters. You know what I'm saying? Your community, in a lot of ways, is a reflection of you. You know what I'm saying? So, to an extent, anyway. So to see Derek do what he does, and be like, oh yeah, he's part of DSP's fan base. Oh well, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Because DSP was a nutty little fucking perv back in his day too, which is ironic because you didn't get the young ass girlfriend and you can't even get it up, nor could you really keep it up. So I mean, you see how Derek's gonna have problems later on too, once he finds out that, hey, once you get into a relationship with someone, sexual or otherwise, it's not going to be the fantasy that you keep chasing on Twitter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to really need to understand what that situation is. We'll see.
Depending upon what his contract looked like with Keemstar. Personally, I would want a percentage of any fucking merchandise that has my picture, my likeness, my fucking name, anything that has to do with me on it. I want my motherfucking money on that shit for sure. But this dude made at least $15,000. $15,000 this month. And he's talking about, I need to make my donation goal. This
Yes, I am still looking for that video. I am still looking for that video where Panda said that DSP and her sex life fell fucking apart. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I do kind of blame it on the nuns too, by the way. But I also kind of blame it on, inadvertently, by the way, I kind of blame it on Melissa too. For some reason, this is just me talking, of course. I feel like DSP has some weird attachment with Melissa, and he was never able to get over it. I'm not saying necessarily he was attracted to her or whatever. I'm not saying it's a kissing cousin type thing, but I am saying that being that DSP was a single, you know, he was raised up as a single child or whatever, and you have a woman who's older than you, who's moved into your home and that you see every day, I could see DSP forming some type of like emotional bond with her, where he really kind of became dependent on her being there. Excuse me. And when she ended up leaving, I think it hurt him. On top of the fact that obviously the knee-jerk reaction that comes from you being the only child and the attention squarely being put on you, to now all of a sudden you have to share that with someone else. The whole family drifting apart thing, I don't know if that's directly because of Melissa. That's us. You keep in mind, we gotta take this all with a grain of salt. Especially after I almost shit on Derek for something that ended up being a fake message. So definitely take what I say with a fucking grain of salt. But the whole thing with that, with his family fucking splitting apart or whatever. Keep in mind, this is someone who doesn't even really speak to his family unless he needs something. You know what I'm saying? So I question the validity on how much of a rift was going on in that family anyway. First and foremost, all families argue and shit. That is what that is. The problem with Melissa, or not to say, well, I'm going to say it. The problem with Melissa and her father, and maybe her mother too, is they all had addictions. And it took over. That's the whole reason why Melissa went to live with DSP's family in the first place. Because her father and mother were really out there with it. And they didn't want anything, you know what I'm saying? And they were willing to take her in. Because, I mean, that was DSP's brother. So Melissa's his niece. So you're not going to let her, you know, you're going to make sure that if you can, if it's in your means, you're going to make sure that your family's all right. And so that's what happened with that, or on that situation. That may not have had anything to do with that huge rift that DSP keeps harping on about. I'm not trying to discount what you're saying, but it doesn't, there's no real evidence that any of that coincides. I don't even think DSP really knows what the fuck happened. I don't think he has a clue. I think what it really comes down to is there's a history of addiction in DSP's family, and he's a victim of it. So the one thing that he could use to separate himself and make himself seem like he's better than them doesn't even exist, because he's a victim of it too. And he's a victim of it on multiple fronts. He's an alcoholic, he has a spending addiction, he has a gambling addiction. On top of his, whether you want to call it his addiction to lying, which I think he is. I think he's literally addicted to lying. It's easier. I think there's a rush that he gets from thinking he's getting over on people, no matter how little it is. And he doesn't even care if he gets exposed anymore. He's just going to ban you. But that's neither here nor there. No, I'm not, okay, not because there's necessarily an age gap. Look at DSP, honestly. Look at DSP. First off and foremost, and put me on record, Meth Bear, for saying this. Panda was probably DSP's first. I'm almost certain of that. And when you think about DSP and you think about how he used to ogle those fucking his statues and all of his kind of juvenile nonsense as it pertained to women or whatever the case may be, he came across as someone who was sexually impotent. He came across as someone who really didn't know what the fuck he was talking about outside of a porn flick. And then once he got his hands on the real thing, he ain't lost his goddamn mind. And then what happened is, you know what? This isn't like the fucking porn movie. Or this isn't like the porno or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting in far more work and I'm not necessarily getting the satisfaction out of it. And then Panda probably, you know what I'm saying, because she was kind of quick with her mouth back in the day, probably was like, okay, so is there going to be like a round 2? Is there going to be a follow-up to this? What's going on? So once DSP saw her disappointment, I think that completely and utterly shattered that dude's fucking ego. I honestly think that's what that was. To be honest, it's not necessarily an age gap, because younger women being attractive to older men makes sense in a lot of different ways, depending on how you want to look at it. It also depends on what she is looking for and whatever the case may be. So I'm not knocking that. What I'm knocking is the fact that DSP got himself a younger girlfriend and he couldn't do nothing with it. He legitimately couldn't handle it. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, he was in his, what, late 20s, early 30s? Libido shouldn't be a problem for him. You know what I'm saying? He has hang-ups, clearly. But there's obviously a problem. There was obviously a real problem, and he couldn't hang. I mean, Jesus Christ. You remember someone talked about it earlier in the chat. When, I can't remember what hotel he was at, but he walks into the room, right? That's how he introduces the actual hotel room. And you got fucking Panda on the bed, face down, ass up. You know what that is. You know what? Click, and it's time to get to work. And then click that bitch back on, and then be like, okay, guys, back to the video. But in his head, that didn't work. That shit didn't compute and shit. Like, the video was more important than a sexual encounter. I don't know how many people would feel that way. I don't get it. Excuse me. I don't get it. And I'm not saying you got to be a fucking horn dog and jump on it any chance that you get, but it was very clear. It was very clear that she was ready, and he wasn't, clearly. And if he can't hang, he can't hang. And that, and being that she's younger too, she's probably going to be far. Sorry, she's probably going to be far more motivated, from a sexual standpoint than he is, and he probably couldn't hang. But I'm telling you, mark my words. I think Panda was his first. I honestly feel that way. Yeah, like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure, like, I mean, despite Panda's inexperience, I'm sure back in those days, and now too, I would assume to some extent, but I'm sure back in those days, she was probably a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she came across, especially back then, as one of those women who aimed to please, to be honest. Now, that's just my interpretation of it, but that's the way I see it. Oh, you're right. I forgot about that young Latina chick that he had back in high school or whatever, that all the guys wanted and whatnot, but she went and grind on DSP instead. I forgot about that. I forgot about how he had the school on lock like that. I did forget that. You're absolutely right. Oh yeah, I think Panda's definitely a freak. For sure. I could definitely see it. But then, yet again, in that same realm, and this goes back to what I was saying about how DSP has like his emotional attachment to Melissa. Go back to that story that he had where, you know, he was on a cocktail of medication, and there was this girl that he was really obsessed with, and he was losing it, and he thought he was going to end up doing something drastic or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, the dude has a lot of fucking hang-ups. And don't get me wrong, everybody has problems. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Everybody has problems. What makes DSP unique is he never wants to address them. He never wants to actually try to fix it. You know what I'm saying? It's just easier to push it on somebody else.
Exact reason that fucking Wings of Redemption is a fucking LOLCOW. And he will never, ever, ever fucking escape LOLCOWdom. Ever. You can respect him for showing up and beating up on Boogie all you want, Maddie. But this is exactly why he loses everybody's respect. Is because after Wings does something, he shows up and he fucking shits on people for like 2 or 3 days, and it goes back to being a fucking depressive piece of shit. Like, nobody has sympathy for that. Like, the whole act of you being a good person is just that. It's just an act. It's a dog and pony show, and he can't keep it up for long enough for people to actually think that that's him. He talks about Wings of Redemption is a fucking character. No, Wings of Redemption is who he is.
Meth Bear, absolutely right. Like, when the thing is about Panda, and this is why when people talk about the drastic change between the Panda Lee era and the Chaos shit, excuse me, and the Leanna and fucking Catherine. When you look at the two eras between the two, and you see how DSP's behavior has shifted so drastically, you got to look at the aspect that he went from a woman who loved him, who actually cared for him, but more importantly, who wanted him. Whereas you look at Catherine or Chaos Realm is what I was thinking of. You look at Catherine and she's content with being left alone. You exist, I exist, and that's it. The only camaraderie they have is DoorDash, and that's it. There really isn't much else there, at least from what we've seen. And given his behavior on how he lets these little things in games bother him, and these little questions, or he won't react to certain shit because there's an attractive woman there, the insecurities that he puts out reflects, I think, the insecurities that he believes Catherine has. I don't think Catherine cares. I really don't. I don't think she's bothered by it. How could she? Like, if you're gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you let something that small diminish your value as a person? And then if they're not sleeping in the same room, or certainly if they're not having any type of sexual intercourse, I should say, who cares? Like, literally, who cares? Like, DSP is the one who puts this crazy emphasis on, I got the loving wife, she's beautiful, if I want to see bra and panties at any given time, I have that, yada, 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 but your relationship doesn't reflect that. You try to make it sound real good, and you try to play the part well, but the energy that you give off just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And this goes back to this narrative that I have where he's trying to play adult. He's trying to play grown-up. And it's embarrassing. And that right there should stand out to a lot of people from just the interview with Side Scrollers when they were talking to him about his business, and DSP looked lost. It was like asking a 12-year-old, hey, you know, what's your deductible this year, buddy? He looked completely and utterly fucking lost. Completely fucking lost. So, and you poaching from your own fan base is something in itself. And then I'm not saying that Panda nor Catherine, they're not the most, holy shit, how do I choose my words on this? Okay. There's some interest. They are two very interesting characters. I'll say that much. They're two very interesting fucking characters, and whatnot. Like, there's a reason why he couldn't go off and just find a normal person who didn't know who he was, and try to establish a relationship. He had to have some type of control, or he had to have something over them, or he had to have some type of prestige, or whatever the case may be. Call them groupies, call them fangirls, call them whatever you want. But it was an advantage that he couldn't have talking to another person. That, and he doesn't like to bathe either. So that's a problem in itself too. No, he was never ready to leave the house. He certainly wasn't ready. Yeah, and it's pro Jarrett like in a lot of ways. It's pretty pro Jarrett like. It's interesting just how unprepared DSP was leaving. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he clearly wasn't ready. And like, funny enough, I talked about this on a Snort Report a long time ago about the anecdote about him leaving to a tournament and his mom had to stop him and ask if he has clean underwear, and he said he felt embarrassed, this, that, and the third. But that shows you where his mind's at. That shows you kind of like what his issue was. And it makes me think it was probably one of the few times that his mother didn't pack his bag for him. So when he, you know, was trying to be his own person, he's still fucking up on the basics. Now, granted, he could go to a Walmart. Oh, sorry, he can't go there because there's too many stationaries. He could have gone to a Target or something and picked up, you know, a couple packs of underwear either which way. But, you know what I'm saying? It just goes to show, like, he's so desperate to fit in that he's not really equipped he's not really equipped to fit in, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a weird way of looking at it.
Jordan is who he is when he puts the mask on. Who he is sitting in that motherfucking chair, that is exactly who the fuck Wings is. The Wings that showed up and was in the fucking ring, that was a mask that he put on for like 30 fucking seconds to go out there and make some motherfucking money. He has no interest in bettering his life. He has no interest in losing weight. And he has no interest in fucking wanting to fight anybody else anymore. Because we're watching this video right here from him. And he literally just said, oh, this is, my boxing career is behind me. I just want to fucking sit here and sad sack all day in my fucking room.
Alright. So big ups to MorninAfterKill. The link to that video will be down in the description. You guys check that out at your leisure. Alright, so let's see what the Hoodlum has to say about all this. Because that was just one part of a much larger video. So I'll play that for you guys now. The video in question is, let's see, Wings of Redemption won't be in a better mood, and Kelly is upset that Richard doesn't make more money. I have the link to that video down in the description too. But just for posterity's sake, this was from May 25th of 2023, and yet again the link's down in the description. All right, here we go.
I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom, deadly. Right here, a dope melody. Anything less than the best disability. You love us, believe it, you got a gateway. Don't play the bullshit, cause kid don't play. If I got a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook where my DJ revolves it.
I gotta be honest with you, I like that intro. To be honest with you. I think his delivery's okay. Like Jordy's delivery is okay. his tempo isn't necessarily there, but I could see him riding a beat. So I'll give him that much. No, I did not hear that Wingtings was being investigated for swatting. Damn. Well, I mean, excuse me. With that being said, I don't condone. I mean, it's not my place to either which way, but I don't condone all the shit that happens over there. But if you're over there on the wing side of the situation, you got to play hard. You got to go hard over there. That's what's demanded. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no middle ground with that shit. There is no trying to play peacekeeper or any of that bullshit. There isn't, joking here and joking there. If you're not going hard, you're going to go home. It is what it is. That's the reason, well, supposedly, that was one of the reasons why they had a problem with the monetization shit. They wanted to keep people on pace and whatnot. They wanted to keep everybody on the same directive. You know what I'm saying? Especially, only a few years ago, the Wings community was nothing to joke with. They really weren't. That was a well-fucking-oiled machine over there. It was a well-fucking-oiled machine. I'm sure Wingtings isn't the only person who went hard over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's a lot of people who went a little too far with a lot of that shit, to be honest. It just happened that he's one of the guys that has come back on. To be honest. But no, I did not know that he was being, I did not know about any of that. Holy shit. It's unfortunate. And the thing is good content's made over there too. So it's not like they need to go to those extremes, but yet again, that's just the demographic over there, I guess. That's just the demographic.
I don't know, Barrel answer something. What build you want me to do? I gotta poop. I'll be right back.
Here, actually, yo, hey Armin, do you want me to actually? I can actually explain the head rub part that he does. By the way, because he does it. It's a tick that he has. Whenever Jordy does something that he feels like, whenever he feels a sense of accomplishment, that's when the head rub comes in. That's literally what it is. It's literally why he does that shit. Because he has another rub that he does too when he's frustrated or whatever. But when he feels like he's accomplished something, then there you go. So that's like his little, it's like his tick. I know it sounds funny, but I promise you that's what that is. Rub the tip of the thumb. Oh shit. I feel like I could make a Buffalo Bill reference there somewhere. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, R.I.P. to Rocco. For sure. But the fucked up part about that is Wings, I'm hard pressed to believe that Wings didn't, Wings admitted that he knew, that he saw that, like, Rocco wasn't moving right. Or, like, hey, he seems to be dropping a lot of weight all of a sudden, and he did nothing to rectify the situation. And it's just like Gangster Grandma all over again. Like, that woman was sick. You should have been by that woman's bedside. I mean, I understand that you gotta stream and make a living and all that shit, but you owed her that. You know what I'm saying? And then when she passed away, you couldn't even go to her fucking funeral because you made it about you and not her. So the fact that Rocco passed and then he passed away in the way that he did, and you know, Jordy's out here talking, or Wings is out here talking about, oh, well, if we could have caught it sooner, maybe this, maybe that. And it's like, well, you said you saw him losing crazy weight. You know what I'm saying? And you run around here, you know, saying he's your best friend, saying he's the first pet that you ever, like, actually owned, and all that bullshit. I mean, come on, dude. Like, come on, dude. Like, how much did you really care about Rocco then? So, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, his I don't know. I feel like Jordy just didn't care. I really just feel like he just didn't care.
So you cut it off?
I cut it back on, but I'm not on every
Hi. He literally is pooping, guys, I swear. Streaming was never really my thing. I did vlogs, but my vlogs would just be sad and depressing lately. It'd be like, yo, I'm fat. I gained more weight. I'm just chilling for a second. I'm not feeling in. I figure I'm better than dead air. Alrighty, guys. Mwah. I'm going to go back to doing my job. Hope everyone has a great afternoon. What did I knock off? Your controller? I'll get it. I had to touch the controller. Sorry, baby.
That's all
I
good.
love you.
I love you too, baby.
Okay.
Hey, Hoosier. Hey, everybody. Band morale, please. Band Chop Suey, please. I think it's fair to say this, that the boxing did not help my career. So let's stop talking about it, please.
I'm not surprised that she gained. I don't know if she gained it all back, but she gained some of it back. But look at Wings. After he had the surgery, he ended up gaining the majority of that weight back too. So I mean, it kind of falls in line, to be honest. Excuse me. And we already spoke on the fact that the fight or the spectacle or whatever should have been a platform for him to build off of, but he's treating it as if it was like a one and done. Oh, all my problems should be taken care of now. Everybody should care about me now, and I don't have to do nothing anymore. All the accolades and all the praise should just show up. Yet again, just lazy LOLCOW behavior. And Keem's not stupid. He had to have known that. He really did. He had to have known.
That part of my life's behind me. Wraith, I'm not going to be in a better mood, man. I'm depressed. I'm a manic depressed. It is what I am, dude. It's reason people pick on me. If I come back when I'm in a better mood, I won't stream the rest of the month. Oh no, it's not a I was on a big high because I felt like I was succeeding. Now I feel like I'm failing. So like, it is what it is. Yeah, you come off of, you know, people caring about you and giving you congratulations to a 150 viewer stream. See how it makes you feel, especially when you don't like yourself to begin with. Ban Xylo, please. I'm at 330 viewers. Please get out here, Kelly.
Just putting something up.
Thank you.
Dude, you're absolutely right. Giving money to LOLCOWs or giving money to people like this, thinking that you're helping them. I said this before. You're actually killing them. Like, and I've said that about DSP. Like, obviously, I've said about DSP multiple times. That all these people who throw him donation money and whatever, you're killing him. Because the dude can't fend for himself. And theoretically, you're giving him a reason not to. Instead of trying to make his way, you're giving him a way out. Oh, instead of me doing anything, I can just keep doing what I'm doing and you're just going to reward me for it. And this is what happens with this whole participation type narrative. Not really narrative, but like mindset that we have in our current day and age to some degree. Where we're giving ass pats just because you participated. Like, there is no real competition anymore. We're all winners, yada, 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 yada. And that's not fun, to be honest with you. Like, if there's no struggle, right? If there's no resistance, right? You're not going to get better. You're not going to grow. You're not going to improve. You're not going to make the people around you any better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work like that. Let me give you guys a great example, and this just happened recently. Like, this happened literally in this stream. So, I told you guys about that message I saw from Derek, right? Okay, it's very possible. What could have happened was a few of you could have just let that slide and be like, "Hey, man, oh shit, maybe was that real?" Or, "Damn, I didn't know that was real." Oh shit, So the point I'm trying to make is someone could have let that slide, and then that could have essentially just been the narrative. But instead, people were like, "Hey, I don't know if that was necessarily real. That might have been fake." And I think it was Hate Army who was like, "Hey, this is why I think it's fake," and whatnot. That right there helps push the narrative. Not only does it clear up the narrative a little bit, even though I didn't actually get into the contents of that message because that's on some bullshit on itself. But the point is that it straightens it out and it betters everybody, right? I'm not going to ban anybody because there's resistance on something that I brought up. You're not going to grow like that. You don't get that from DSP. He takes every little thing as a slight, despite the fact that the majority that he talks about is pulled out of his ass, or it's a narrative that's not even his, and he don't even fully understand. And that's how he chooses to live his life. And no one goes anywhere and can do anything with that. I'm not saying, nor am I here to motivate anybody to do anything. To be honest, that's just not the case. I say what I say, and what it is what it is. But at the same time, though, too, if you don't agree with what I say, you have the right to speak up on that. It is what it is. I've said plenty. I've said plenty that may have come back to, well, it kind of did. Came back to bite me a bit. But that's how I felt. I felt like I didn't think that situation was played correctly. Or I feel like, hey, this guy gave such and such credit about DSP's FGC career, and I don't think that's right, and here's my evidence on why I think it's not right. It's not me bashing you, it's just bashing the idea, or it's me just going after the idea. You know what I'm saying? No one should feel sensitive about that. It is what it is. But the point being, though, is that you're not going to grow like that. You know what I'm saying? You're just not going to, you're not going to improve that way.
Puhan, I don't know if you noticed, but I've streamed maybe a total of like 6 hours in 2 weeks. Like, taking time away, all it does is hurt me. Because here's the truth. I got to make the same number of donations I made last month.
And keep in mind, though, too, and this is something that kind of gets lost in translation, is that this idiot was able to get $25,000 out of people for a surgery. So it's not like he could ever say that everybody was always against him, people were always beating down on him, and no one ever believed in him. People were willing to put up some major money to help you out. You felt like, even though they shouldn't have given him the money, you felt like you, from a weight loss standpoint, you had essentially hit a wall and you were never going to get better. You could do nothing to change where you were in life except for go the surgery route. And people got the money up so you could have set surgery. And then he ended up gaining it all back later anyway. And then he didn't even spend all the money where he said he spent it. I don't know. It's a whole nother thing in itself.
Viewers. So it is what it is. The only reason we got 364 people in here is because I'm complaining. I understand you think going outside will make me more money, but here's the thing. I'm not going to do an outside stream, you know, fucking 31 times a month. And there's only so many times you can stream walking around the park before it gets stale too. Thank you for the advice. There's no reason to do that 672 because, one, I don't make enough money to buy games actively. Like, every time I buy a game, it just comes off my bottom line, and it rarely ever makes its money back. It's been like Jedi Survivor. It's like, at this point...
Yeah, that's actually an extremely fair point. Like, there are people who still probably believe in him, and he just squandered it. But that's what Wings has always done. Wings, if you go back to Wings' Call of Duty days, you know what I'm saying? He was a front runner on a lot of things, and he put a lot of people on. Like I said, I feel like he was a kingmaker in some ways. But he squandered all of his opportunities on dumb shit because he couldn't get over himself. Like, he let small things just kind of tick away at him, if you will. And it all built up. And it's very possible, too, that this boxing... Well, whatever. That boxing match, or this whole boxing scenario, I should say, may very well be his last hurrah. If he don't make this shit work, there's nothing else. But he clearly has already kind of given up because he's already scared that whoever he fights next, he's going to lose. That he's not fighting to win. He's just, he would rather avoid it just so he don't lose. Beating up Boogie, I guess it's going to be the highlight of his YouTube career or his internet career. And he's okay with that. Or at least that's what it sounds like. What's the point in doing anything at this point then? Get the fuck off the internet. Get yourself a fucking 9-to-5 and just do that. Like, why would you want people to slowly watch you die on the internet if you're not willing to do anything to fix it? But that's how he's choosing to live. And truth be told, he's probably been like that since 2016, to be honest. Yeah, that whipper and dog thing really makes you want to kind of slap him in the fucking face for that shit. It is by far one of the most pathetic things I've seen. Or I've heard, I should say. DSP crying over tea is one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen. I gotta tell you. Like, that whole crying, that whole nonsense and whatnot is absolutely just pathetic. And I've always felt like DSP's forcing himself to cry for tea. It doesn't feel genuine. Like, you know what I'm saying? It feels like he's literally trying to force himself. He's trying to force a scenario or a situation that may have never even existed. That's why you got people out here now questioning, well, how close friends were T and DSP in the first place? And then Wings don't even have friends, bruh. The only person he really has is Kelly. You could say he has Woody to an extent, but that's essentially it. He could be bigger, well, not now, but he could have been bigger than PKA. But the thing is, though, is he yearns to be back on PKA. He wants things to be back the way it was. And truth be told, the way he makes that whole camping trip sound, I don't think it was as bad as they say it was. Because let's be honest, if Wings ended up breaking an ankle out there or something, they're the ones that are going to have to carry him out. So, let's be frank. But that goes back to Wings' problem with commitment. You know what I'm saying? Like, he talked that hype shit leading up to it, but then literally the night of, he's like, yeah, I'm not going. Like, he wasn't even man enough to tell them the week before, hey, I don't think I really want to do this. And give a reason. He didn't even have to give a reason. Just say, like a week out, just say, hey man, I don't think this is a good idea for me. But he wasn't man enough to do it. He just wanted to sit at home knowing damn well that people have spent money. People are traveling to get to wherever it was that they were going to camp at. He was wasting people's time. And I would say historically, if you have people who do that, people who are willing to waste your time, I should say, it's because they don't respect you. That's really what it comes down to. And I think honestly that's the reason why Kyle has the animosity against Wings the way he does. I mean, this is a guy who brought Wings into his home for a period of time and shit. And Wings essentially carried himself like he was out of some backwater fucking wherever and had no fucking manners about anything. There's 2 women in that house. There's 2 women in that house or whatever besides Wings and Kyle. And you still pissing with the door open? What's up, James? You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit's fucking stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying? The dude, he's a piece of garbage. He's a piece of garbage. And Wings always will be.
Point is pointless to play it. I do think of it as a business expense. And the fact is, it rarely makes its money back. So it would be a sunk cost, not a business expense. That's why I say, like, if you want me to play new games, you got to buy it for me. I'm cool with playing.
That sounds like another DSP-ism.
I just don't want to spend the $70 to buy them. You guys ask for stuff I can't give you. Rainbow is fucked. I'm not starting Rainbow over again. Call of Duty doesn't pull viewers. I literally have 150 viewers more playing this game that you don't like than I pulled on my last 2 Call of Duty streams. Almost combined.
Base Ken, yeah, he really has picked up a lot of DSP's fucking mannerisms and shit. So has Rich, does too every once in a while too. Rich also displays a lot of those kind of mannerisms every once in a while too. And Cobra, I think Cobra just happens to talk like DSP at times, but I also see some of those same mannerisms in Cobra as well. And whatnot. Not to say that there's really any type of crossover, but I see when watching as much DSP as I've watched, when I look at other LOLCOWs, and maybe that's because I want to see it, but I see a lot of those same type of mannerisms. What's up, Ring? I just see a lot of those of his mannerisms and other people and whatnot. And like I said, LOLCOWs all share these type of I'm sorry, when I meant about the crossover, I meant between DSP and Cobra. But amongst LOLCOWs in general, they have a lot of shared tendencies, or isms, if you will. They have a lot of them. A lot. And so, who's the originator of it, or whatever the case may be, is up for debate. But definitely DSP is a front runner.
Boxing anymore, guys. I'm done with it. Oh, I mean, I've deleted Call of Duty. Like last stream where I got like 200 viewers or some shit like that, I was like, all right, I don't got to play this no more. Like the only reason I played Call of Duty was because like I thought it would make me successful. I don't, so I deleted that shit. I never touch it off stream anyway. It's just like it's like Final Fantasy. The only reason I had Final Fantasy VII Remake downloads because I thought people might show up for it. When they didn't, get away. I don't want to play it no more. I didn't like the remake.
See, going back to those DSP-isms, instead of playing the game because we enjoy it, instead of having fun with something because, you know, you actually want to have fun with it, oh, it has to be a business expense. How many hours can I get out of this? How much money can I make on stream? If I can't get that, it's useless to me. Holy shit. At least he's honest about it, though. You know what I'm saying? If we're giving the bare minimum on shit, at least Wings is honest about that shit. Hey, I have no passion for this. I don't give a fuck about playing this shit off stream. How much am I going to get paid for it? Is it going to bring people in? If not, fuck it.
I thought it was too anime. Nah, I don't want to do react streams. The simple fact of doing react streams and putting other people's content on my channel opens me up to get copyright strikes. DSP does it on an entirely different channel than the channel he streams and makes and pays his bill on, and he does that for a reason. He does it because he knows that all it's going to take is one person to pretend to be whoever the content creator is and strike his channel down, and he loses his income. Yes, I've been diagnosed with manic depression. I was on Paxil for most of my youth. I got depressed. I got depressed when my Call of Duty stream had 250 viewers. I haven't got over it yet. No, I got so many viewers today because I was complaining, and there's like a Discord that follows.
Now, how many of you would be depressed to have 250 people on stream? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see how the nonsense of that shit? Now, I have to say, if he was on Twitch still, his viewer count would be much higher. But who scoffs at having 250 people on stream? On what's essentially a dead channel. Same thing with DSP. Like, DSP Gaming is a dead channel for all intents and purposes. So the fact that that idiot's still able to pull 350 is insane to me. But yet again, who scoffs at that? Who scoffs at most people, especially if you don't stream a lot or if you're just starting to stream? Who scoffs at 10 people? 50 people? 100 people? Like, who does that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, it's really... Dude, for you to be able to hold anybody on stream for any period of time who care about anything that you say or do is really something. You know what I'm saying? There's still people who stream on Twitch who've been streaming for a year or more and don't have anybody. Like, here, let me give you an example. So, Asian GTG told me about the Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War trailer, the second one that came out, and whatever. So I watched it, right? And I ran over to Twitch because I was wondering if anybody in particular was talking about it at the time. Mainly, I was looking for like King of Lightning. There was a few other people and whatever. There was a person who I've seen their streams before because they like doing like retro runs of games and shit. And I've talked to him about Bleach a couple of times too. And this dude had like 350 people on his stream and shit, which is obviously the most I've ever seen. And he's doing a breakdown of the Bleach trailer and going over the different shit or whatever. And it was amazing how he's always talked about wanting to do something. He wanted to do additional content besides what he was doing, but he was scared to do so because he's known for doing this one thing. But the moment that he actually does try something else, you know what I'm saying? He's getting the results that he's looking for, or at least more than what he was hoping for, I should say. And he was just happy about. He was just really happy that there was people to talk to about Bleach, It wasn't even about his viewer numbers. It was about he was just happy that there was other people talk about Bleach. There's a level of simplicity in having just a few people who share an active interest with you. If you're a LOLCOW, yeah, the fucking trailer's fire. The trailer's fucking fire. And the thing is, though, too, and I don't want to go on a tangent because I know most of you guys don't fuck with that like that. But I will say this. If Kubo does this bitch right, I will... I literally read the manga, like, all the way till its end. If the anime is done right, and if he fills in the spots, if he gives us the explanation for shit that we're supposed to, and if we get to see people actually utilize their Bankai and get a better understanding of it, if he does it right, this will wipe clean the bad taste that people have in their mouth over the manga. If he does it right. Right now, it looks real good, and it's playing the part well. But I hope that he executes. I hope that it executes. Fucking A. Because it looks really fantastic. It really do. So, especially getting clarification on people's Bankai and how it's used. Well, most people know how it's used. But how it's going to be animated or whatever. It's going to be very interesting. We can talk about that, though, later on. But, my point, though, my overall point is, when you have a group of people who are willing to engage with you, whether they're talking to you, whether they're just watching the stream or watching your video or whatever the case may be, that right there in itself is an accomplishment because it's something that most people don't have. You have so much variety out there. You have so much. You have so many choices you have so many options that you don't have to settle for anything. So the people who are there because they want to be there. The moment you start to forget that, you start ending up like DSP.
Me around, and they're all watching, trying to clip shit, and make stuff for their channels and stuff like that. I quit Rainbow because Ubisoft fucked my character account up, and nothing to do with me. Yeah, lose my 21 diamond charms, my champion charm, my 80% of the elites in the game. I had like $600 wrapped into my account, man. It's not about recovering the account. They linked my PC account to my account and overwrit my PlayStation account. Like Keemstar wanted me to fight Billy the Fridge, and I'm like I don't even know if I want to fight again, Keem. I gotta have back surgery. I don't know if I need back surgery at this exact moment. Like, I'm trying to get an MRI scheduled right now. The problem is I have.
Well, first off, fuck that 15-year veteran bullshit, and let me give you some actual insight on that. Did any of you guys see the tweet that was put out, or I think it was a tweet that was put out by YouTube Gaming, bigging up Maximilian? Did anybody see that? It was on Twitter. And so, like, one, I'm not saying Max doesn't deserve it, because clearly Max deserves it. What I'm saying is that Max does not now, Max is a content creator, right? But he doesn't stream on the platform. He streams on Twitch, right? But YouTube is bigging up his contributions and what he has done on the platform. DSP is never going to get that type of recognition. At least I don't think so. I don't think he'll ever see something like that. Which, yet again, it's the acknowledgement of what people like Max have actually done on the platform. They didn't treat it like it was just a job. They didn't treat it as it was, a way of getting their own ego up or trying to validate their self-worth. They actually provided something. They actually brought something to the overall platform. DSP talks about his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics about how they're wastes of life and they don't actually do anything and they'll never be known for anything meaningful. If DSP's channel goes down tomorrow, what will any of you ever really remember him for? You'll remember him for all of the dumb shit that he's done. And the reason why that is, truth be told, is because there is no positive. There was nothing inspirational. There was nothing motivational that he's ever done in his entire fucking life. If anything, excuse me, now that I think about it, if anything, It was from the nonsense. It was from the bullshit. It was from the pig grease, the bacon grease, if you will, is what inspired people to actually make content on them. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of the few times you could say a positive, depending on if you consider detractor content positive. You could say detractor content. You could say a positive came out of a negative. You know what I'm saying? And that was at DSP's expense more than anything. I mean, how many other people can say that? Exactly. The incident. May 1st, we'll never forget. Give her a pill and leave her somewhere. I'm actually surprised that no one made that joke about Catherine when the car broke down. And also, real quick, actually, now that I think about it, this idiot still doesn't have AAA, and more importantly than even that, you're telling me that his car insurance doesn't provide him with a towing service that's built into his policy? Every insurance policy I've ever had, I've had an incentive for towing, or I've had a clause, I should say, for towing within my insurance. All I had to do was call my insurance company, and they went ahead and took care of that. So why the fuck is DSP, quote unquote, paying out of pocket for a tow when theoretically his insurance should already have that covered? I always wondered about that. Yeah, and AAA is super fucking cheap. But even on top of AAA, because, I have both, my insurance company, my car insurance company has a clause where I can call them and they'll get me a tow. If they'll tow the car, they'll fix a flat tire, they'll give me a jump, they'll fucking give me gas, all that. Which is kind of what AAA does, but AAA will tow you further. How does he not have any of those things? At all. And I understand that, Catherine only works like 10 or 15 minutes away or whatever the fuck. But still, why doesn't he have these type of safeguards on himself? I don't know. I just never understood that. That shit always threw me for a loop. Nah, DSP doesn't read anything. Unfortunately.
MRI.
Thank you. Roadside insurance. Or roadside assistance.
A place with an open MRI that isn't booked up for like months at a time. I mean, I put my back off for the boogie fight, but I didn't want to do it again. Put it off again. No, what's got me down is low viewer numbers. Like, I had a Call of Duty stream the other day that had like 250, and then I did Fallout earlier today. Not Fallout. Fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it got 180 viewers tops or some shit like that. So it was like, okay, that sucks.
No, Bell, I did not I did not see the fact that I didn't see that he hasn't fixed the shower yet. I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised he hasn't fixed that shower at all. Actually, I'm still questioning if he has fixed what was going on with the sink downstairs. The kitchen sink, I should say. The garbage disposal is, and to be precise, I don't even think he's squared that away yet. And if there's problems with the floor where they have to wear sandals or shoes or whatever because he doesn't want to fix that. I mean, the dude doesn't want to do anything. Lazy son of a bitch don't want to do anything. And yes, it is a sweet irony that DSP gets fleeced for everything because he rips off people himself. It's the definition of poetic justice.
Back to Friends Season 7. You gotta understand, I don't have any faith in myself, and I don't believe in myself at all. So I take failure to heart as like the standard. What a lot of people don't understand is like Jordy is a manic depressive. Wings of Redemption is a character. Yeah, but the thing is, real live streams is not something I can do every day of my life.
Oh, actually, it's not just the smoke detector. He couldn't deal with that right? He couldn't put up the coat rack, right? We had to use a fucking adhesive tape for that shit. What else can this idiot not do? Goddamn, there's a lot of shit that he can't do now that I think about it. He can't change a tire, because I don't believe he changed Kat's. I don't believe he changed Kat's tire. I think, excuse me, either one of her fellow employees or mall security helped her with that. He can't hang up pictures in his own house. Well, he said he couldn't. That's why he needed his father to help him. But then when Panda left his ass, that's when he decided to do that whole photo gallery nonsense in the hallway. But I contradicted myself because they eventually fell off the wall after a period of time. I don't know if he was using adhesive tape on those too, but he said it was getting so hot in the house after a couple years that they started to fall off the wall. So he can't even do that shit properly. Jesus Christ, when I really think about it, DSP really can't do shit. He can barely stream. He plays games terribly. He has terrible life advice. He has terrible life experiences. Holy fuck, he really can't do shit. I mean, except for lie and scam people. God damn, that dude really is fucking useless when I think about it. Holy shit. Holy shit. He can't cook. He can only heat up food. He can't even really cook anything. Holy fuck, chat. I really need to think about it. DSP really can't do anything, can he? Like, just he can't do laundry. I mean, he didn't even know how to work the washing machine after Panda left his ass. 35 fucking years old and never learned how to fucking use a washing machine. That fucking kills me. Which means his mother was doing his laundry when he was in Connecticut. I've been thinking about that too. Yeah, he knows how to beg. But he doesn't even do that well. Not anymore. He's lazy with that now too. Fucking hey, yeah, that dude really can't do shit. Yeah, he did mess up. I'm telling you though, I feel like he botched that exercise bike on purpose. And they fucked up a roast, or it was like a baked ham or something. It was a pre-cooked ham. And they fucked that up. Now I think about it. Does anybody remember when DSP fucked up, well, DSP and Kat, when they fucked up the pizza rolls in the air fryer? How the fuck do you do that? It's an air fryer. They made that shit literally dent proof. And you fucked that up. Oh my god. Holy shit. Like, if you don't know how to use it, like, dude, you can literally read the instructions of an air fryer in 5 minutes. You got that bitch down. It's really fucking easy. Holy shit. Oh, you're right. He did say that his mother came by the condo to clean the house, to clean it up and do his laundry. Holy shit. You are absolutely right. He really can't do shit. Like, the guy really cannot do anything. And this goes back to what Howard said. Well, John and Howard said it. That it's really surprising how far he was able to make it. Now, they were talking specifically about YouTube, but if you really think about it, you could apply that to just life in general. God damn. All right, the cup noodles. With a spoon, no less. We couldn't just go ahead and get ourselves chicken noodle soup. No, we have to eat ramen and whatnot because you have a cold. With all that fucking salt in that bitch? God damn it, Phil. Fucking idiot. He really can't do anything. Wow. Well, you see what pigs can do.
I can play video games every day of my life and be dynamic with it.
That's very true, Proper. He can't even get it up. I'm telling you, DSP really can't do shit. Oh, what's up, Domino's? Like, he really cannot do anything. Like, if you... we'll have to save that for another stream. But if you really look at it, fundamentally speaking, Phil Burnell, DSP, Darkside Phil, cannot do anything. God damn! That's really wild. That's really, really, really fucking wild.
I know my feelings aren't always logical, but like, You feel like you're making a breakthrough and you're actually growing.
Trust me, Dragon. There's a lot of people you'll be able to reach out to this weekend. Well, whenever DSP actually decides to get online, but there's a lot of trust me. There's a lot of places you can go on YouTube and find people that are ready to go after Low Tier God when Street Fighter 6 drops for him. It's going to be an interesting couple of months, to say the least. Especially if what they say is true, where Low Tier God's really trying to hit the tournament scene again. It's going to be fantastic to see how that works out. Wait a second, Michael. Is that true? Holy shit. His wife makes all the appointments? This dude can't even make an appointment for a haircut on his own? Well, at Curls and Twirls or whatever the fuck they Curls and Twirls. I'm sorry, whatever the fuck the name of his hairdresser is. He can't even make his own appointments? Oh my god. Oh, dude, when Goji gets his hands on fucking DSP, that's just gonna be fantastic. That's just gonna be fantastic. I cannot wait till the compilations of that. Holy shit. Oh my god. Like, there's definitely some people... Like, Goji's at the top of my list, obviously. Evil AJ is on the top of my list, because I don't see Evil AJ not playing Street Fighter 6. Like, I really hope he's playing. I don't know that for sure, but I hope he's playing. Jose, obviously. There's going to be people hunting for DSP, dude. And I don't think the lobby system is set up. I'm going to have to go back and read that, because I mean, I guess you could kick someone from the lobby. I don't know why you would, but maybe you can. I know that DSP is going to probably black the screen out, though. Because the chat, the lobby chat or whatever, he's going to be super salty about that shit. I'm low key hoping that he forgets about it, though, because that's just going to be really funny.
As a content creator, and then all of a sudden you get less viewers than you normally got. If depression was logical, you know, there wouldn't be like complete clinical studies on it.
I'm not actually sure if they have a streamer mode. That's actually a fair point. That is actually a very good question. I'm not sure.
Because like, I live
either way, he's gonna be salty as fuck about that shit. And he's not a streamer anyway, so he doesn't deserve protection.
Fear that there's gonna be one day I turn this shit on and nobody shows up ever again. And like, when I'm in a foul mood or I'm depressed, I'm not the greatest person to be around. I mean, like, it doesn't help that Kelly got on me the other day saying she was unhappy that I didn't make more money. And it's like, I'm like, I want to live a simple life. I don't want to fly around.
He's gonna have to get into the public lobby. Like, he's gonna have to put himself out there in the public lobbies, though. That's the only way he's gonna learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, hiding in private lobbies is not gonna get him anywhere, unless he just starts. Unless it's 30th anniversary all over again. And I would think he'd be smart enough to try to avoid that this time. And that, and with crossplay and all of that, I mean, I would assume he's going to jump in the rank. It might be a little while before he starts running the private lobbies. But we'll see, though. We will definitely see.
On the world all the time. Because, like, I have a lot of connections, and I could be making a lot more money than I do. And, like, I just don't want to live that jet set life where I'm constantly flying around the country, dealing with people that want to backstab you, always dealing with two-faced people. Like, and I was trying to explain it to him, like, I choose to live the life I live because it's easier on my mental health. And she sees it as, like, you know, my mental health has been like shit the last decade. Had nothing to do with being lazy. If I was lazy, I wouldn't have trained to fight somebody. I wouldn't have dropped 30 pounds and punching bags until my arms had fucking blisters and shit on them. Mine's more of a motivation. Like when I'm feeling good and I'm motivated, I can do things, but my issue is I like to sit in comfort zones too long. Well, my mental health was pretty good around the match because it felt good to have people believe in me other than call me a fat toxic friend 10 years. Am I in my comfort zone now? Kinda, yeah. Pretty much this office is a comfort zone.
Literally a DSPism. So, ladies and gentlemen, so let's jump back over here on Wings for a second. Scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel. Like, Kelly's not wrong. You're a depressed piece of shit no matter what. The least we could do was actually go out and do something. And see some stuff, right? Or do some stuff. Instead, oh, well, you know, I don't want to be a jet setter. I don't want to get backstabbed, this, that, and the third. Dude, when you are... First off, if you don't know how to read people, that's on you, essentially. Secondly, you're going to have bad actors and no matter what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? That right there was paranoia. That's what that was. Not everybody's going to be out to get you. There's going to be people that are going to be looking to make money off of you, right? But not everybody's out to get you. And you're not going to know until you get out there. That's what life is, to be honest. Not everybody's out to do you in. Not everybody's out to take your spot, whatever the fuck you call it. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn how to interact with people. You're going to continue living, right? So you have to talk to people. You know, if not, you end up like DSP. So you have to interact with people. More importantly, he's missing the point that Kelly tried to make. Kelly don't want to die in that trailer or that fucking mobile home or whatever. While they're still healthy and while they can actually still do something, she wants to do something. He's more concerned about the money. When the moment he said jet set, he's thinking, oh, what's the cost of doing this and doing that or whatever. First off, you don't have to fly everywhere to do anything. People still call people, Wings. People do voice chats and shit. There's a lot of business that can be done online. Secondly, and more importantly, the cost of doing business. You would rather sit here and cry that you barely have 150 people on a stream when you could have an opportunity to make some real money and actually live where you want and live the way you want and have your wife be a little bit happier about it. And maybe you by proxy. I mean, it's a sad way of looking at it. And this is why, as some of you are saying, this is why people don't feel bad for him. At the end of the day, if you want people to believe in you, people have to see you try. What is he going to do? Point back to this that boxing situation in 6 months and be like, oh, you guys are calling me an idiot or you guys are calling me lazy. Well, look what I did 6 months ago. Okay, cool. What have you done since then? Are you still training? Are you still working out? Oh, well, I don't have any boxing matches coming up. Well, you could still be doing that for yourself. Right? And this is the reason why everybody's saying it's a cash grab. You were given an opportunity to start the right habits to try to better your life. It's not just to put yourself in better shape to box or fight or whatever, but to just get yourself in better shape for a better quality of life. But he's not doing it. And I don't think he ever had any intention of doing it. If he's okay with dying in that room. Just like DSP. DSP is perfectly content with dying in his little office, dying in his little bubble, because at least he's safe and at least he can control it. Jordy's no different. And I hate to say this, but you're going to end up getting... You guys are going to end up seeing that sad-ass message on Twitter where Kelly's like, I woke up today, Jordy said he had a headache, or he said that, he wasn't feeling well and he went to stream. And when the stream abruptly ended is because he passed out. And he didn't make it. It's going to be something like that. If he's lucky, he dies in his bed. But if not, he's gonna die in that chair. And then what? And then what? Then you're gonna have assholes like me be like, well, hey, he had opportunities to fix the shit and he didn't want to. I'm sorry that he's dead. I feel bad for his family, right? I feel bad for his wife and all that stuff. But I mean, truth be told, he brought it on himself. I hate to say it like that, but sorry, but I'm not sorry. That's probably how it's gonna happen.
Well, I've been depressed the last 2 or 3 days. Like I've been sleeping way too much and shit like that. It just blows some people's minds that that somebody can make more money than they do, and they just don't because I'm
actually sadly sad enough, but that's a fit. That is exactly. It's being honest. Silent Weapon's right. DSP is probably gonna be the first one. He's gonna be the first one in line to fucking to monetize Wings' death. I agree with that 100%. I hate to say, and I hate to say it's true. DSP is gonna be the first one in line. He's going to be the first one in line. He'll do it before PKA does it. He'll do it before PKA does it. And he'll come up with some lame-ass sob story, right? No, I understand that he's not black, but no, hear me out. DSP is going to come up with this sad sob story about, well, you know, I've talked to Wings, the Jordy behind the scenes a bunch of times, and people didn't necessarily, I didn't want to speak about it, but, you know, he was going through it, and I was kind of trying to help him out or whatever, but I was just telling him, man, you know, you're too down on yourself, and, you know, you gotta, don't even bring up Tipster. Holy fuck. After the shit Tipster got himself into recently, he needs to figure out what the fuck he's gonna do about that shit. He got to figure out how he's gonna get himself out of that nonsense, and he needs to stop trying to leave the commentator community multiple times. If you're gonna leave, you're gonna leave. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fucking A. Like, it's getting to the point now where you got people like Nicholas DiOrio who's like, I don't give a fuck if the guy leaves. Fuck him. I don't care. He wasn't providing nothing anyway. So fucking A. So Tipster needs to pick a side and stay there. But yeah, DSP is going to give some lame-ass sob story about how behind the scenes he's been talking to Wings for a number of weeks or months, and, you know, he knew something bad was going to happen, but he tried to talk him out of it, and he tried to say that he should try to better himself, and this, that, and the third. Nobody's going to believe it because DSP is not doing it himself, so how could he be telling someone else to do that? It's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be bullshit. He's going to turn that whole shit into himself. He's going to make Wings' whole death about him. Just like how he did with Etika, just like how he did with anybody else. Yeah, Tipster's fucking A, dude. Like, it's grifting, obviously. It's major fucking grifting. And so this whole nice guy shit that he pull, like, you see the DM, like some of the DM leaks that they have on him, like, you're an asshole to people. You're a straight the fuck up asshole. In the exact same way as, like, Monday Matt is. Like, you know, like Monday Matt comes across as boring, milquetoast, and all that bullshit. But behind the scenes, like in Discord, he's a savage. He's an asshole. And the thing is about Tipster is, like, he takes himself too seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, he takes himself way too seriously. And the most recent thing that I saw was this nonsense about how he was an alcoholic and he was able to pull himself out of it, and I immediately got DSP vibes. So I'm thinking, but then you're still drinking too. So you're an alcoholic, or you were an alcoholic, but now you pulled yourself out of it, but you're still drinking on stream and shit. So which one is it? Either you don't know what an alcoholic is, and you were just drinking a little too much, or you're still an alcoholic, hence the reason why you're still drinking. Which one is it? And then he's trying to protect Queen Keffels or whatever the fuck that is, and that whole situation. So that is what that is. So, and then Tipster's mad because people are clowning him over it. But the thing is people are also being like, well, how are you going to defend this one person and say what you say, or no, how are you going to shit on this one guy for allegedly doing something, right? When people are calling you out on your shit, and you're kind of taking this shit way overboard. Like, it's not that fucking serious. So I don't know. It's Tipster's that's a whole mess in itself. It's a whole mess in itself. But my biggest thing is, you're not leaving the commentator community, so stop saying that you're going to. Stop saying that you're fed up. Stop saying that you're mad about how they do shit, whatever. You're going to sit there and deal. So just deal. Just deal. And be careful with all these women or girls or whoever the fuck it is that you're talking to. Be careful about that, because they keep exposing them. But at least, as far as I've seen, he's not sending them nudes. He's not getting crazy with it. He's just... the things that he's saying to some of these girls, he should be talking to his wife about. Or not girls, but women. He should be talking to his wife about. Like, not some random thought online that you don't know. But that's neither here nor there.
I look at money as like a necessary evil. Like, I have to make money because, you know, the light company wants money and I want lights. You know, I like washing clothes. I like taking baths and shit like that. So the water company needs their money too. But I've never wanted to be rich. I've just wanted to have enough so people didn't fuck with me. Right? Sometimes, like something Keemstar said to me kind of radiated. That when you see something, you got to figure out how to turn it into content. And like going on PKA is nothing but content. Like, would I want them to buy my part out? Sure. Is it ever going to happen? It is not. I mean, I've been holding out for a decade now. It ain't happened. Yeah, fucking Keem wanted me to go on to fucking side scrollers. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Now, okay, so this is kind of interesting. So apparently, I think Craig actually said this, or Stuttering Craig said this, that he wanted to get Wings on right before the fight, and makes sense because Keem already had a main line with them, and Wings didn't want to do the interview because he didn't like the way the DSP interview went. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. If that's really the case. At the same time, like, I don't think they were going to do him the same way they did DSP. I think they were I mean, I'm sure they were going to pop some shots at him. They were going to probably ask him about DSP and what his feelings are on certain shit. But other than that, it was... I don't think, honestly, it was going to be anything extravagant. I think he missed out yet again on another opportunity to do that. You literally have a gaming audience over there. Why wouldn't you have taken advantage of that? I don't know.
Right. I told him to do to his face. I'm like, after I seen what they did with Phil, I'm good.
I don't know why he ended up getting married, to be honest with you. Because as far as I know, Tipster and his wife don't have children, which is fine. They don't have kids, so I don't know if they got some type of weird open relationship or whatever the case may be. I don't even know what the full narrative is. What I do know is you can't be mad that people call you a cheater when you've already come out and said, you know, you and your wife have an understanding or whatever. So people are going to say whatever they want to say either which way. Just deal with it and move on. If you know it's not cheating, and if she knows it's not cheating, then it is what it is. Now, let's be honest, perception is reality in most cases, so it is what it is. So the fact that it offends him, or the fact that it bothers him, means, or it could possibly mean, that the situation is not the way he portrays. But then that's just something he's got to deal with. End of story. End of story. Like I said, that whole situation, that whole narrative sounds off. But if that's the life that you guys live, and you guys are happy with it, then so be it. But yet again, that's a fair point. Why even get married? Like, why put yourself in a committed relationship like that? You know what I'm saying? If you guys wanted to just kind of be roommates with benefits or whatever, so be it. I don't know. Whatever.
They made like $20,000 off the man and then just attacked him. And it's like, all right. I'm cool with that. I mean, granted, I did some attacking on Phil today too. But like, that's just because Phil's obviously lying. Right? But I'm not going to... I'm not going to sit here and just down the man for over and over and over again. I like Phil. I think Phil makes great content. I think the internet would be a worse place without Phil. Right, but that's what it is, right? You got to keep fighting, and like I'm not sure if I want to keep fighting. Like, I didn't enjoy the experience. Like, it's fucking exhausting, and like Boogie, granted, Boogie was an easy opponent. He was easier than I thought he was going to be, right? But as you get wins and people see you fight more and more, people know what to expect. They can create formulas on what to expect. They know how you train. They know if you're going to put in the work, and you're eventually going to run into guys that are just going to outwork you. Because, like I said, I'm on the wrong side of 30, and I'm 400 pounds. Like I'm not a boxer. This stream most likely is going to be deleted because of.
That's hilarious. Now, here's my thing. Then, yet again, this reinforces what I said earlier. Why do anything? If he's sitting here acting like he's literally like some prize fighter, or he is some he's some prodigy that's coming up out of Golden Gloves or whatever, and everybody's gunning for him. It isn't that serious. It really isn't. It's a spectacle. It's for entertainment. He's reading into it too much, but that's the only way he can justify his excuses. Then why did you fucking take the fight in the first place? And then how the fuck are you going to sit there and say, oh, he was an easy fight. He was easier than I thought. You didn't take the fight because you thought he was going to be a challenge. And I'll debate anybody on that. He did not go ahead and take that bout with fucking... I'm sorry, I have a hard time trying to justify that as a match in any way, shape, or form. He didn't take that bout with fucking Boogie because he thought it was going to be a real challenge. Let's be honest. Let's just be perfectly honest with each other. So why the fuck did you really do it? You did it because it was easy money. It was easy money. And yeah, that shit's exhausting. Yes, that shit is going to wear down on you mentally and physically. It's supposed to. Excuse me. If you wanted to walk around like Bernard Hopkins, for example, back in his heyday, you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to walk around at your fight weight, then you would have lost the weight and kept it off. Or like Arturo Gatti, for example. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to be in shape for those type of opportunities, you would be. But you're not. You're a lazy piece of shit, and you will only move when money's on the table. That's it. End of story. So let's not make it seem like it's more complex than what it is. There's always going to be someone out there that's better than you. There's going to be someone who's technically better. There's someone that's going to have better strategy. There's going to be people that are going to hit harder. They're going to hit faster. They move well. That's just the point. You would think all those years of Call of Duty would have taught him that. But no. Wings falls into this category with DSP that they only want to play when they have advantages. When they're the top guy and they don't think anybody can really topple them or harm them. The moment those things fall out the window, or get thrown out the window, I should say, then they don't want no more. No mas.
To be an example of what I am. Oh, I show up to most things I say I'm going to show up to. Like, a long time ago, I tried to just quit lying.
Wings is I mean, how should I word that? His affection for DSP comes from the fact that he can identify with what DSP goes through. And so that right there kind of makes them brothers in arms, I guess. There's a camaraderie there, if you will. The problem is, where Wings wouldn't mind playing second fiddle to DSP, you know, from a content creator standpoint or whatever the case may be, despite the fact that Jordy is literally and figuratively the bigger content creator, DSP don't like him. DSP hates Wings. Just like he hates Rich, just like he don't like Boogie, he deals with them if he can use them. But other than that, he doesn't give a rat's ass for any of these people. He believes he's above them. He doesn't even want to be associated with them because it justifies what assholes like myself says about DSP. That's what it comes down to. If DSP actually had a conversation with Jordy, he would find that they're a lot alike. But ergo, that's the problem. He doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that him and Jordy have a lot in common. That him and Jordy are assholes. They're pieces of shit. They're scumbags. They'll use anybody. They'll lie to anybody. All of those things. That's the reason why, and I've said this, that's the reason why DSP don't like Rich. Because when he looks at Rich, he sees himself. And he knows it. And he knows it. Deep down, DSP sees the shit that Rich does and knows that shit. That whole thing where Rich takes his shirt off, sucking on cucumbers, has the porcelain roosters on his table and all that shit, and all that funny gimmick stuff that you see him do. Rich is only doing that because that's his answer to what DSP do. Who's going to debate that? Honestly, who's going to debate that? What you see Rich do is no different than what DSP does. It's just his way of doing it. That's all it is. Jordy kind of does it too a little bit. He had the bubble thing going on for a little while. He has the top hat thing go on. He does the little top hat gimmick every once in a while. It's no different. But see, DSP looks at them as Muppets. He looks at them as clowns. He looks at them as jokes. Well, you're a joke too. Matter of fact, where do you think they got it from? Like, this is LOLCOW reverse Uno card all day. But, semantics.
It did nothing but hurt me. I didn't do the fast food video.
I agree, Lux. DSP is definitely worse. He's definitely worse than the two of them. I agree, 100%.
I mean, I did it.
And yes, they literally are his peers, and that's what makes him. And that's what makes him upset. And that's the reason why the whole side scroller thing kind of worked out when it did. Because DSP literally thought that was going to be his way out. And the problem is, and you kind of saw that with the young lady who's on that show, Babs, or Bab, whoever. You could tell just in the few minutes of being on stream with him, when they were on stream together, I should say. You could see that she caught a vibe off him that she didn't like. I'm not saying she didn't like him. I'm saying she didn't like the energy he was giving off. There was something about DSP that she didn't like. And I think that there are people who are in tune with that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or like, they're sensitive to it, I should say. That's the type of energy DSP give off, and he don't even realize it. He don't even understand it. But this is how people, and this is the reason why people treat him the way they treat him. But that's just me. Yeah, in the post show. Yeah, in the post show, you could tell like she didn't want to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the moment he opened his mouth, you could tell she was like, oh, like it was cringe. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's even something deeper than that. Like DSP isn't a likable person. He never really was. You know what I'm saying? He fit a niche at a particular time. That was it. He never grew out of that, though. You know what I'm saying? He never was able to evolve as a person or as a content creator. He just stayed doing what he was doing because people liked him doing it. Well, that's not a reason to stay doing the same thing forever. But he don't see that. As long as he was rewarded and his ego was being satiated or appeased, if you will, he kept doing it. And that ended up being the fatal flaw. And Jordy is the same way.
And I've never said I do podcast appearances. Like there was gonna be like the thumbnail for the video, like all the food we bought. Like, it was actually raining that day and shit like that. Like here's part of the video, but like I got all the footage and everything for the video. I've seen people do the exact video and do it better, so it's like whatever.
But that's not a reason to not do anything. Okay, you've seen other people do it. It came out better the way they did it. All right, fair enough. You're not going to know unless you're not going to learn, right? Unless you do it. And that's kind of the problem. Him and Kelly have like a bunch of footage of them doing different types of stuff over the years. At least since they've been together. And he won't put none of it out because he's afraid of the criticism. Well, you're going to get criticized for not doing it. People are going to call you lazy for not putting in the effort or for not even trying, right? which I know we just talked about ass pats for participation trophies. We've already talked about this, but that is not a reason to not do anything. Like, how do you expect to get results for anything if you're not willing to do anything? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But he's already convinced himself. And in a lot of, in a lot of ways, he picked that up from DSP. He's picked a lot of that up from DSP. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, if, and this is just a theory that I have. This is literally just a theory. All of those strikes that came down on the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, those strikes were probably supposed to happen weeks before they actually did. So I'm thinking that DSP Reacts was supposed to launch. Actually, when did DSP Reacts launch? Nah, it's not exactly a Theo theory. Theo actually has good theories. When did DSP launch DSP Reacts? Was it before the interview or afterwards? It was before, wasn't it? No, it was afterwards, right? Excuse me. Someone help me out. Well, you don't have to help me out, but it's appreciated. Yeah, Theo's dope. Like Theo should have a much larger following than he does. Alright, it was before. Okay, so okay, my theory still stands. I think the strikes were supposed to happen before. The strikes were supposed to happen after the launch of DSP Reacts, but before the interview, if that makes sense. Okay, right. Okay, so people started getting taken down after it. Right, that makes sense because that makes sense why you would get rid of Dark Dave Mirrors and Raw DSP, so this way people don't have to watch his DSP versus the internet or whatever bullshit that shit's called. You can just go over Dark Dave Mirrors. I think what was supposed to happen was, excuse me, he was supposed to strike. The channels were supposed to get strucken down after DSP Reacts launched, but before the interview. If that's the case, right? If it worked in that sequence, DSP can go ahead and essentially go at his enemies before going on to the show, and then he thought he would be able to control the narrative. Now, I need to go back and look. What's up, Paul? I need to go back and look and actually see for sure, because I really can't even remember when DSP React actually launched. But I'm sure he started that before he did the actual interview. His first react was on the 13th. The interview for Side Scrollers was on the 16th, yeah? Yeah, it had to be. Because, I got a video... Well, once I get the shit with the main channel squared away. Because I did a video where... Because DSP was off on the 15th, I think. No, wait. Fucking A. I think the Side Scroller interview was on the 16th. DSP was off the day before. And I think Stuttering Craig did his own stream that night before, I think. Okay, the strikes came after the interview. Okay, March. Okay, all right. All right. I'm getting it together. Okay, so March 16th was the interview. DSP was off on the 15th, right? I remember DSP Reacts, first wave of takedowns, interview, most first strikes. Who was the first? Okay, Misery. If you remember, who was the first detractor that we know of who got hit? That was Hogan, right? Or was that Duty? Because I feel like it was one of those two guys first, and then it was Cat Roller. There was it was either Outsider then Cat Roller. I know I got this shit written down. I know I got this shit written down somewhere. And then Dark Dave Mirrors and Raw DSP got hit somewhere in between there too. Alright, chat, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make a note, and we're going to work on a timeline on another stream. Because I would like to, excuse me, I would like to get that worked out. Oh, that's right, Forbidden Math did get hit pretty early on. Forbidden Math is back though, right? And then Hate Army got hit too. I don't know if Aqua Teal end up running into some problems. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, that's a fair point, Silent Weapon. Because if I can get a timeline together, then I can tell you guys my theory a little bit better. Well, Hate Army, yeah, Hate Army, you got hit a bunch of times. All right, there's Hogan right there. Hogan, when did you get hit? Oh, that's right, Super Crazy got hit too. Yeah, see, now I want a timeline. I want to establish a timeline of when everybody got hit. Because whoever it was, who put in the claims against them, it had to have been like 72 hours before dudes actually went down. That was a weird sneeze. Okay, I'll have my guy put in the timestamps for this because I would like to get this part timestamped because I would like to try to establish a timeline. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to derail you guys. Let's go ahead and get back to this. But like I said, if any of you guys can think of anything, feel free to just go ahead and put that into the thing. Actually, I do need to talk to Proper because I think Proper actually does have the majority of this locked down. James and Lester might too, actually, now that I think about it. So I'm gonna need to reach out to them. Alright, here, let's continue with this video. And but big up chat, because now I have ideas and questions.
I missed my opportunity.
Oh yeah, no, I know for sure that Phil hit Super Crazy, Dark Dave Mirrors, and Raw DSP. I don't want to say blood is on his hooves for that, but you know what I mean. Like, he's gonna deal with that. Not sure who got struck first, but pretty sure it came after the interview. Okay, so yeah, I need to reach out to some of y'all, and I will figure that out. Like I said, I'll take some. I know I have some notes on some of this stuff though, and then we can work it out from there. Big ups, Hate Army. I appreciate that, dude. All right, here, let's continue with this video. One of the original SOK members was on that shit too. And DSP had been and DSP had been denying that claim for a long ass time, and he ended up exposing himself on that. Just another one of those Monday Matt type moments, I guess.
See, like if I had money, I'd buy some shit like this right here for myself. 2000 Firebird. That's cool.
Yeah, Loophole. Thank you. Yeah, that was Loophole.
They want $3,100 for that. Dude, we tried to trade up. but we're stuck right now. Like, we traded my Xbox for like a PlayStation Classic, and we're trying to trade the PlayStation Classic for, like, the idea was we were going to trade the Xbox 360 for something, and every time we trade 5 times, we were going to do a video on it.
That's that new fucking A. MC Jarvo. I haven't heard that song yet, actually. I know it's doing well though, but I haven't heard it yet. I want to. MC Jarvo puts out bangers for sure. Like, there needs to be a collaboration between MC Jarvo, Liquid Richard, and I guess Meerkat, to be honest, because Meerkat makes bangers too. Collaboration between those three would be dope. And then you could throw like Tevin in there and a couple other people to throw down vocals. That should be fire.
And we got stuck on the second one. Like, no, like, people want to give us like $40 for the PlayStation Classic, but we want to trade it for something that's equal, like $45 or $50. There's lots of shit goes behind the scenes that we do. It's just.
Oh yeah, that's right. There is a couple of people in the DSP community that actually do music like that. Donut, who's been deleting videos? You mean Liquid Richard? Because I mean all his stuff's backed up, so no harm, no foul there. Or are you talking about MC Jarvo?
Goes up. I'm a millionaire? Nah.
Oh, yeah. Pig Roach. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, Pig Roach, he sat there and killed his channel. Quite literally. Literally killed his fucking channel. And then it's dumb because someone has all that shit backed up. Now I think about it, there's, I don't know if it's on SoundCloud or if it's on Apple. I can't remember what the platform is. But there's someone who literally has an audio version, of all of DSP's, like, podcasts. Or Bottom Bitch podcast, whatever you want to call it. It has a bunch of it. Like, they have all of them. So, like, he'll never be able to really escape it. Oh, no, you're good, Donut. Spotify, thank you. It's on Spotify. Oh, no, you're good. You're not derailing anything. You're good. I'm actually trying to lay out this timeline in my head, so you're good.
I wouldn't have a payment on my air conditioner. I don't know. He just seems different. Does he not seem different to you?
No, but okay. Do you want to get another cat?
I don't know. Like, I'm on the fence. Like, I feel like we don't need another animal, and we'll never replace Rocco.
Right.
But, like, at the same time, I don't want Grayson to be lonely.
So question me this. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask later.
I just miss my friend at times. It's so good. You know, mood swings are what they are. Mood swings, man. Like, if I was mentally healthy, I wouldn't have trolls. It is what it is. Like, I'm a manic depressive I'm a diagnosed manic depressive, but I also feel like I'm a little bipolar. But that's not diagnosed. I'm not a great MMA fighter, but, like, I feel like I could beat most fat people's ass. My issue with fighting somebody like Badland Chug is I don't have faith in myself. Much more so than I'm worried about him beating me up. Because the guy's 5 or 6 inches taller than I am. And he outweighs me. So he's got the height, reach, and weight advantage. So, like, I would literally have to do a lot of inside fighting. And because it's hard to uppercut somebody that's shorter than you. So what you want to do is you want to basically keep your hands up and try to stay in the garbage. You're going to eat some jabs. All right, boys. I got to get off. Looks like this stream's getting deleted.
Holy shit. Alright, big ups to the Wings trolls, man, because goddamn, dude. That shit's like hella fucking depressing and shit. Like, the self-loathing and shit, and the self-masturbation is fucking ridiculous. Holy shit. Like I said, I understand the mood swings and everything. I understand that I get it. But, like, it seems like he's purposely trying to milk it for everything it's worth. That's not going to make the trolls go away. And truth be told, as someone has already pointed out, everybody has their namesayers, haters, detractors, or critics, or whatever. It's all how you handle it. You know what I'm saying? If you show that you can bleed, and especially if you can bleed from a paper cut, then guess what? People are going to go ahead and see if they can get you with a death by 1,000 cuts. And that's what Jordy never figured out. At the end of the day, Jordy doesn't want to get better. Which is kind of the problem. Like, it's admirable to be like, hey, I hope he gets better. But he needs to want to get better himself. And he really... He don't. It's easier not to. Because if he stays where he's at, then he can justify not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't want to... It's not even about... It's not even necessarily about putting in the work. It's coming to terms with who you are and what your place is in the world. YouTube isn't the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? Like, YouTube isn't like... Dude, do you know how fucking... And I just had an argument with someone about this recently. Do you know how fucking small YouTube is in the grand scheme of things? Let me give you an example. The Call of Duty community, right? Because I follow that shit really close. Do you know that most people who play Call of Duty casually don't even know that there's a Call of Duty community on YouTube or Twitch? And more importantly, don't care? So you got dudes running around like Aiden, for example. You got that dude running around thinking he hot shit and no one really knows who he is out of the small community, the niche community that there is online. Other than that, he holds no bearing to anything in life. At all. You know what I'm saying? Like, as it pertains to what it is that he does. You know what I'm saying? And you could say that for anybody. You know what I'm saying? You think let me use Moist Critical, for example, because he's taking shit for something that he said recently. Do you think people really know who fucking Moist Critical is? Like, you know what I'm saying? In the outside world? Like, the actual outside world? Yeah, there's probably a few, but do you think there are people who really know who he is? Or they'd recognize him on the street? You think he's shutting down a whole block or something? No. He's built himself a nice little place online that doesn't affect the outside world per se. It's just a niche type of thing. You got people like Jordy and Wings who their whole self-existence is built off this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure Charlie doesn't value Charlie's value isn't based on what he's doing on YouTube or Twitch. I think Charlie values himself for who Charlie is. Wings and DSP don't do that. Their value is based on what other people perceive of them. Because of that, it's easier to be a shut-in and deal with the devil that you know, so to speak, than to actually go outside and literally, legitimately be a nobody. Nobody knows you, no one's heard of you, and if they have heard of you, or even in passing, it's in a mocking sort of way. And that's kind of what it comes down to. They're a prisoner to this shit. How does that happen? How do you put every bit of self-worth that you have based on this? On you playing video games, or you doing like a podcast, or you doing streams, or whatever the case may be. How is it that your life is so devoid of value that if this shit right here, if people don't consider you important here, then you're not important anywhere. Someone explain that to me. Because that legitimately doesn't make sense. But that is one of the actual problems that you have with the internet in general. And it's hard for people to kind of fathom that. Yeah, because YouTubers aren't celebrities. They are not. They're if you do want to say they're celebrities, they're internet celebrities, but that's all that is. And even then, they're not even internet celebrities. You're someone well known on YouTube, or you're someone well known on Twitch. In the overall, no one really knows you or knows of you. You're just another person. That's why when you see people like Aiden Ross go to ball games or go to boxing matches or whatever, the majority of those dudes do not know who that cat is. And truth be told, he don't care. There was one situation though where he had brought like one of his friends or something. Someone from his little entourage or whatever. And he had accidentally bumped into someone. I can't remember who it was, but he accidentally bumped into someone. He said, hey, my fault, whatever. And the guy was like, yeah, no problem, whatever. And the guy just left. And the guy just kept moving. And his friend was like, well, wait a second. This is Aiden. Like, you don't know who that guy is? And like he was kind of shocked. Like, by proxy, he didn't, like, the guy he bumped into didn't know who he was or didn't know who he's hanging with. No one gives a fuck. You're just another dude. You're just another person. And that's, I think, one of the major problems that people deal with. And DSP is an incredible case study on that. I'm not going to call you a loser or a nobody, but in the grand scheme of things, you're just another person. You're just another person. Alright, guys. One more video. Let's see here. Also brought to us by Lummox. Wings of Redemption believes DSP and Kat are lying. Of course they are. So let's check what this is, and then I will let you guys go.
Damn, son, you can't find this on the internet. Damn, son, you can't find this on the internet. I found it on the internet. I'll tell you right now what happened with DSP's tire. You can believe me or you don't want to believe me. DSP's wife had a flat tire, and I'll tell you what. This is the reason I'm saying this. Kat had a flat tire, and the reason I'm saying she had a flat tire is because if you look at the picture, she's not in a park. Like, she's literally just coasted into wherever like the parking lot of her car was in. She didn't park her car like say like this is the parking spot. Her car is parked like this with like a parking spot line going like that. To me, that states that she had to make it a stop. She had to stop in the parking lot wherever she could. So like what ended up happening is she had a flat tire. They took the little jack that comes with the car out the back, jacked it up. It's called a scissor jack. They usually come with like tires like that, and they took a picture when the tire was off. If you look on the picture itself, if you look where the front bumper connects to the front fender, you'll see that she scraped something in that area. Like you'll see.
Now, as we already know, that scrape was there beforehand, so that has literally nothing to do with what he's saying in particular. But he don't know that, so let's just go with it.
It's missing. She most likely hit a curb or went fast to a fast food place and knocked the edge of the tire off, and she had to change the tire. Like, let's be real. Who is stealing one stock, Toyota Corolla wheel in the middle of the day? It's not like he has like Lincoln Aviator wheels or like Hellcat wheels or, something that actually would get you money on like the aftermarket, right?
Because if he did, they would have taken all four of them. They would have taken all four of them. If this dude had specialized wheels and rims, please believe they'd have grabbed all 4 of them bitches.
That's also a good one, Chucky. Like she could have drove on the wheel and destroyed it, and didn't want to tell Phil about it, so she lied about it being stole. Regardless of what it is, nobody steals one tire. Here, let me show you guys what I'm talking about to make it easier. Picture. Is it on his Twitter? Try not to go to a troll channel. But like I guess I have to. So this is a picture of DSP's car after the tire was stolen. You see this little
big ups to James the Lesser. Good shit. Went right for his channel. Good shit. Good shit. Like I said, big ups to James. Wings got the shout out for him.
Line right here that goes underneath the rotor. This is a parking line, right? Like normally, like you would park your car like right in here. She's literally parked over top of the parking line, so like she's not in a parking spot. And to state that she lost the tire while she was in her job doing her job, she wouldn't park like this right here. You can see the line goes straight underneath the car. To me, that states that the car was stopped as soon as she got into a parking lot. Correct? You know, you can see other cars here, like how they're parked diagonally. Even this car right here is diagonally parked versus where she's parked in the paint itself. If you look right here, oh, you can't see my mouse, can you? Well, if you look at the thingamabob, why can't you see my mouse? Is there a way to make the mouse pop? Capture cursor. Alright, but you can't see my mouse. But if you look on the like if you look directly above the rotor, let's say the top of the rotor is 12 o'clock. If you look at about 11 o'clock, you'll see like white paint on the fender. This is where they've hit something with the car and it's rubbed the fender. Right there. That means that they hit the car, and what I'm thinking is they've hit something and rubbed against the tire at the same time, be on a curb or whatever, and it popped the tire. Because this right here is a standard Toyota jack that comes with the Corolla. That's what I'm saying here. But like, to state that somebody walked in there and stole one tire, that's not correct. That's a fabrication. Looks like this stream's getting deleted.
Oh boy. Alright. So as you guys saw, the crutch of his argument is based on the fact that is based off that scratch mark there. But as any of you know, that scratch mark has been there for a better part of a year, if not longer. It's probably been there for longer. But we've known about it since the gas station picture that was taken. So I'm anxious to know what Wings' theory would be, or is now, that he knows that abrasion was there in advance. But that's neither here nor there. But he was kind of on the right track, kinda, sorta. Big ups to Lummox. Big ups to James the Lesser, who made it in a Lummox video. Good shit. So big ups to that. Alright, chat. And just for the record, DSP, it's really easy to do these transitions, man. Shit ain't hard, bruh. Shit ain't hard, bruh. It's really not. Holy shit. Like, it should be easy for... Now, keep in mind, I didn't do it for the longest time because, I'm lazy. But it's easy to transition where you don't have to keep adjusting your camera every time you change the scene, DSP. But whatever. It is what it is. Okay. Alright, chat. I like I said, we'll do another stream. I'll talk about the tire thing a little bit more. Absolute fucking bullshit, though. Holy shit. But honestly, though, and I've talked to Agent Proper about this. Big ups to Proper. I think the only reason why we got the tire story was because Jinx got doxxed literally the day before. Or no, the vest streak ended the day before. Jinx got doxxed the day before that. If DSP could have kept his liquor together, for all we know, the vest streak, the support streak, whatever the fuck he calls it, would still exist to this very day. But that's just my thoughts on it. As for Wings, you have seen a prime example, ladies and gentlemen, of what happens when you fail yourself. At the end of the day, it's unfortunate, but the only person who's gonna move your world is you. At the end of the day, and the fact that, the way I see it, the fact that he's not even willing to put his best foot forward for Kelly's sake, you know, your wife, you remember Kelly, right, Wings? The fact that he won't even do that for her, let alone for himself, speaks volumes for who Wings is as a person. And that's why people like Keemstar, even though Wings was paid for it, that's the reason why people like Keemstar will keep taking advantage of Jordy, and Boogie. He will play upon your desperation for as long as you let him. And if you're not willing to make a move, there's no reason why he needs to look at you as an equal. There's no reason for him to do anything, to be honest. And it's kind of unfortunate, to be honest with you, because, you know, Jordy isn't getting any older, to be honest. And, you know, you're in your mid-30s, I think. And, you know, you don't have anything stashed away. You're kind of just living paycheck to paycheck or stream to stream, I guess is what you're saying. And you don't want to do anything else because you've been doing what you've been doing for so long and you don't know how to do anything else. And you don't want to learn how to do anything else. And it's a fundamental problem that I don't necessarily say, I wouldn't say you can blame that on society, because not everybody moves like that. Not everybody thinks like that. I'm sure making a large amount of money streaming, whether you're doing like a podcast type situation or playing games or whatever, I'm sure that's great. At the same time, I think most people, especially in this day and age, this isn't your end all be all. You should be looking to expand if you can. Rhyming accidentally. You can't be content with what you have. You know what I'm saying? Growth is something that's just a necessary thing. No one wants to, if you're living comfortably, that means you're probably stifling yourself in some way, shape, or form. At the end of the day. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be content, or you shouldn't be, well, I guess you shouldn't be content with what you have. You should always be striving to do more, to be more, really more than trying to accumulate more, I guess is what I'm really trying to go about it. But if you're a LOLCOW, though, you've lost that. That drive, that ambition, all of that has already left you. That's the reason why you're a LOLCOW, to be honest. It's just the way it is. Let's see. Wow. I would assume DSP's house is completely dilapidated at this point. And like I said, and that's another thing as it pertains to DSP. As long as he can milk people, you know, for the money to fix the shower, to fix the downstairs toilet, to get him specialized, you know, not curtains, but blinds for his windows. As long as there's someone dumb enough to pay him, he'll keep doing it. And in a lot of ways, you see Jordy doing that too, because he said that the roof needed to be fixed. He said he needed new air conditioning, so he's tried to do the same thing. And why wouldn't he? He hadn't gotten $25,000 for surgery. If you can convince a group of people to do that, in your own mind, I should say, you might be able to convince anybody to do almost anything financially at that point. It may take time, but certainly it'll happen. Let's see. Thoughts on how Street Fighter 6 is gonna go for. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be. He's clearly ill prepared. You know what I'm saying? He's clearly ill prepared. You know what I'm saying? I've had the privilege of being in 2 closed betas plus an open beta plus fucking around with some crack lobbies or whatever, and I still feel unprepared. You know what I'm saying? Especially in that open beta, the last one that we had, dude, I was fighting off I was fighting off people who were doing modern controls. Like, that was literally like my mindset is like, all I'm doing is getting paired with these people playing modern controls. I can't lose to this. So it's gonna be ugly. I think it's not gonna. He's gonna scrape his wins. Don't get me wrong, but it's gonna be brutal. And then you got all these young guys coming up. Oh, young and older guys actually. You got a lot of these guys who are really trying to get into the FGC. They're trying to get to EVO. They're trying to get the Capcom Cup because qualifiers and everything is open. So anybody, is open. So anybody can join. He's got to contend with all that. So you're talking about he's going to get scraped by multiple generations of FGC players, and he really can't do anything about it. So expect Piece of Peace, expect Cat Roller, expect Outsider, expect anybody and everybody who does some type of edited content to be putting together compilations of DSP getting his ass handed to him. My only thing is, I'm hoping to catch him slipping in a lobby. I am really hoping that I catch him in a lobby. I really do, because I know for sure he doesn't understand how the drive system works. And don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert myself, but he doesn't. But the drive system has changed things a little bit, and mainly how Super Armor works, and the comparison of Super Armor and its effect on what is the new EX moves. They don't call them EX moves in this one, and stuff like that. He's gonna have problems. And then the difference between a regular parry and perfect parry, he's gonna have issues. He's gonna throw out drive impacts, and people are gonna bait that shit out. Like, people are already doing that now. And lastly, as it pertains to burnout, initially people were hesitant, getting into burnout. They were trying to hold on to one bar to prevent it. Now people don't care. Because if you get in the burnout, the best thing you can do is to keep pushing forward, because you can't block. You know what I'm saying? At that point, because you take chip, and you can take even further damage in burnout. So you have no choice but to push forward. DSP is not going to like that, and I don't think he's going to be able to really do anything about it. And the more that he tries to micromanage his drive gauge, the more fucked up he's going to be. Because I've seen it. I've done it myself. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've had matches where I burn through my fucking drive impact meter, or my drive meter, and I try to hold on to like 1 or 2 bars just in case. The more you focus on that shit, the more you get yourself fucked up. So that's just my experience. So he's gonna have a hard time. It's gonna be rough, and all of his experiences, I should say, with Super Turbo is not gonna help him here. It's not going to help him. If he can't pick up that system in the 20 plus hours or whatever the fuck he said as it pertains to World Tour mode, if he doesn't actually pick up and learn what that mode is going to try to teach him offline, he's going to be cured bacon from here on out. Trust me. And especially if I catch into a lobby with him, I'm confident that just off normals, I can piss him off. Just off normals, I'm confident that I can piss him off. So, we'll see. Like, we will actually see. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And I'm also looking forward to running into, like, Goji Tanks, Evil AJ. There's a bunch of people that I'm looking forward to actually getting a chance to play against. I mean, I'm not going to know them, and they're not going to know me in particular. But if I record my matches, you'll see it. You know what I'm saying? So you might get a compilation and whatnot of this is how you don't play GTG edition. You never know. It could be fun though, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of reaction content. I'm looking forward to breaking down a lot of his footage. Holy shit! Speaking of which, real fast before I let you guys go, and thank you guys for coming out. I very much appreciate it. Did Cat Roller put out the rest of their Street Fighter footage, or the ones that the footage that they did have? Was that uploaded? Did they put that back up or no? Mortal Kombat's is gonna be fun too, but he's gonna get beasted in Mortal Kombat, and he's gonna get beasted when Tekken comes out. Oh my god, it's gonna be so much fun. There's gonna be so much FGC nonsense that he's gonna have to run from. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And then especially Secret Limited plays Tekken. I don't know if he plays Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but I know he plays Tekken. So that's gonna be a whole other thing in itself. So it's gonna be a mess. But anyway, I'm not sure if Cat Roller has put out their old Street Fighter footage. I hope they do, like those old compilations that they did before the takedown. Hopefully those go back up. Those are fantastic videos to watch, and you're gonna see a whole lot more of it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Because Footsies is definitely going to be the name of the game in some of this. He hasn't re-uploaded those yet. I hope he does. I honestly hope he does. No, I don't have a schedule for videos just yet. At least not for the main channel. If worse comes to worse, then I might have to upload them here or on second edition. That's a good point. Maybe he's not going to re-upload them. That's unfortunate. He has some gems. I saw that. I'm looking at it now. Actually, I saw that he put up the a Warzone compilation. So I was hoping that maybe. So there's still hope that maybe it'll be just a longer Street Fighter one. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Anywho, let me not hold you. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's other people out there you can check out. Thank you for coming out. Might do another one of these. Leading into the weekend, maybe, and then you know me, I'm gonna be grinding on Street Fighter all weekend. So that's my thing, for the most part. Look out for me and Proper to do a stream. Eventually, you know, life comes at you fast. Yes, I have been watching Justin's videos. Actually, if I remember to, I'll link it in the description. There is someone who has a fantastic tutorial series for Street Fighter 6. If I find it, I will link it in the description. Please check it out. They're not very long as it pertains to videos, but everything you need is there. No bullshit, no extra exposition. It's just straight bars, and everything you kind of need from a basic standpoint, you can get it. And like I said, I'll find that. If I find the playlist, I'll put it in the description, because that's just floating all over like Reddit and shit. So it's not hard to find. But thank you guys for coming out. Like I said, I appreciate it. Go ahead and get out of here. Enjoy your day. I'll see you guys later.
Had her up at the red. the rap.